while you dream. A life never lives in peace. As you stand upon the edge, woven by your single thread, and fate may fall down upon you, while the devil is knocking right at your door.
Back on the air once again, at this time the smallest of the super speedways in the NASCAR circuit. Drivers will come in here looking to tame the mile and a half that is Atlanta Motor Speedway, but will it be too much to handle? We'll find out in a handful of laps here as we get ready to go green flag racing with the HTL Cup Series, round number 7, live at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Cortez back on the call with you, Kevin Young. Joining me in the booth, Kristina Ryan, making all the things look pretty as she does. And Kevin, it's been an eventful couple weeks since I've been gone, as I understand, and we're getting ready to mix it up even more here at Atlanta.
Oh, 100% indeed, Joe. First of all, it's great to have you back in the booth as always. Do a good show together. And even though I was doing a great job holding down the fort, we do better as a team. But to talk about Atlanta in the South and what's happened the last 2 weeks since we've been gone, to give you a quick update, a lot of things have happened. We've had drivers get suspended. We have new drivers filling in part-time, full-time, some new debutantes here tonight. And they're all coming to the place of the high speeds of Atlanta, the newly paved Atlanta, the banked Atlanta, the plate Atlanta, if you will. And it's going to be very chaotic indeed. A lot of drivers still on the outside looking in, maybe trying to punch their golden tickets into the playoffs here tonight. And no better place to do it than here in the sun. I was going to say the Sunshine State. That's Florida, the land of peaches here in Georgia.
Deep in the heart of Peach Country, Atlanta Motor Speedway, Atlanta, Georgia. So glad to have you here joining us tonight. One of the 4 super speedway races. So tonight we will have one extra quick repair for all the drivers here tonight as we get ready to go green flag racing. Lots of stuff going on and moving around as we notice. First off, Cody Pennell, the 38 machine, will make his debut tonight. Caleb Carter, the 95 for Ascent Racing, a non-chartered car, will show up once more for Ascent. And a whole lot of mix-up over at Arrowhead Racing with John Hagan gone for the season. Carmen Sienna will climb back in the car in the 44. Chance Wadsworth in the 18. Casey Ellis takes over for Lily Frazier in the 11. And Tommy Reynolds, the rookie, the part-time rookie, is now commandeering Carmen Sienna's 96.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as well. Tommy Reynolds now a full-time competitor. Remember, won the last plate race we were at, which was Daytona 500. Reynolds held on and got the victory after flipping. So I think it's overall easy to say if a driver flips here tonight, put the money on them to take the checker flag when it's all said and done. But checker flag in the air for practice, and we are going to get ready for qualifying. And these drivers are going to get ready for one magical lap to set up blistering time.
One magical lap around one of the fastest mile and a halves in all of racing. Not to mention, like you said, it's also paved. It's also freshly paved out here, so that's going to make it go even faster. And when it rubbers up, oh boy, there's going to be a lot of racing to be had here. Look for a lot of racing on the outside line. Think of this as an opposite super speedway, if you will. It's tires matter and speeds kill. So unlike other ones where they're going to be basing their entire runs on their fuel tank, look for them to race their runs on how fast the tires will last, because this racetrack, even though it is repaved, it'll still chew up tires all day long.
100% indeed. You also see drivers when we do get to the situation where cars are running around on the circuit, that high middle line's where you want to be. That low line's going to be a bit of a passing lane. So it's about making your moves, set up your lingo, and you want to be near the front or at least maybe leading the train when you see the white flag. But obviously, before we even get there, we got to get the qualifying. And if we see victory lane where one car will park his virtual machine in, we're going to see who the first lucky driver is. And it looks like it's going to be the 34 machine. They will be the first car to take a qualifying lap here, being a debutant.
The Beanbag, Bobby Blowers from the Orlando Outlaws entry, will be the first one to go out for qualifying, followed, it looks like, by Cody Pennell. The two debutants will be coming out starting qualifying series tonight. So Bobby Blowers, the 34 machine, the Ford Mustang for the Orlando Outlaws. He's apparently got one HTL Cup Series from last year at Atlanta. So the Beanbag 15. If you want to follow him on social media, right there, he's going to be the first one to take qualifying. It'll be Cody Pennell behind him and Caleb Carter. The other debutant in the non-charter descent racing car will be the first three to take qualifying.
Hey, that's the perk of having a bad run last week, so you get to go out early in the queue here and get your sponsors and some airtime, get you nice little zoom-ins on the hood in the back there. So you can see again at the Beanbag 15 car leaving out here, taking the warm-up lap. Remember, if you are new here, they only get one lap to set down a time, and then that's it. So if you make a mistake, hit the wall, spin, your run is effectively over. And if you didn't validate it, you can try to complete it, set down a time, but if you hit a wall, you just got to hope that you're going to be somewhere towards front and your number decides where you go. But as Blowers comes off of 4 here, he's going to get ready and geared up, and he is going to start off our qualifying with a bang.
Officially beginning the qualifying session, Bobby Blowers into turns 1 and 2. Look for them to go as close to that line as they can, as that is the fastest way around any track, but particularly at super speedways. Blowers going to go about a lane up, work these middle to high lane before jumping back down into turns 3 and 4. The first one to take time here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Where will he start? Obviously the pole, but it may not last for very long. Through the dog leg we go, and he will start off our qualifying with a 31.273.
Good lap by Bobby Blowers, who was our last race winner at Atlanta last season, and then got its top 2 in the trucks as well to back it up. So heavily seasoned here at Atlanta. And that will bring us on now to the debutant of Cody Pennell. If you're a regular on this channel, you'll see him in the A² Cup Series in multiple opportunities running the next-gen machinery, and he will fly on off as we have a few other cars getting the fire off as well, leaving the pit lane. See, Pennell actually puts down a time there. Mistake in that, he will go P2, and now we'll pen on to the next car.
Caleb Carter, the next one, the Ascent driver. Again, an unchartered machine for Ascent Racing. Not sure if this was a late season addition for the group, but nonetheless, good to have Caleb Carter on board, and we're looking forward to, I'm sure, one of many races where he will be finding a way to qualify in. On the high side, trying to get those tires as hot as he can to get him moving for this qualifying attempt. Into the quad oval he goes, going by the start-finish line, and he is qualified.
Yeah, he is right now starting his flying lap. Next car also on the track as well is the 93 DJ Trout. So like we've seen in week's end, drivers will go in succession 2 by 2 by 2. The set times are to make this qualifying go a little bit quicker. But as Caleb Carter comes through 3 and 4 right now, you can see him pinching the bottom right now, trying to keep that car as low as he can, take the short way around. We'll see if that benefits the number 95 machine. As they come off of 4 here, not going to cut the dog leg down straight. It's going to be a 31.434, which is going to be P3 for the number 95 machine.
DJ Trout, the first of the 3 Premier Racing Club drivers to take time out here. His best finish was 6 in Charlotte. This track could suit him well if he's looking for a good finish tonight. He crosses the line at 31.328, provisionally 3rd, but that may not hold up.
Yeah, we'll have to see as well. Many strong drivers, and that's another quirk about HTL qualifying. We go in reverse order from last week finishing. So the strongest drivers last week go the latest, and usually the drivers that are the strongest are the ones that are usually winning races and finishing top 5. So it benefits, and we'll see times go up and down. Next up, though, is going to be Kevin Gibney Jr. in the number 1 machine. He's had some good qualifyings of late. Definitely a driver to keep an eye on. That could be with a very long winless drought to his name, looking to try to scratch that itch and try to get that first victory this season and punch his magical ticket. Away he will go as he will start his flying lap. Speaking of that drought gap right now, I was just talking about here. You can see right there, obviously, Blake may not like bringing this up. He has the longest winless drought, 55 races and counting. You'll see Kevin Gibney, P3 on the list at 38. Matthew Boone in second with 45 races. Dean Clavitt with 29. Our Season 3 champion, Zachary Meredith, with 27. Hunter Peach bringing up the top 6 with 26 races in an active drought. And again, with this track being a bit of a anyone could take it, a lot of those drivers could scratch that place. Right away, Gibney crosses the line. It's going to be P4 for the number 1 machine, and that will be in middle of row 2 right now, but obviously that can change.
The second privateer, Richard Odie, the 78, the Odie remote, the racing driver, will cross the line, 31.392, puts him in the top 10. But right now, towards the back end of it, as 2 more drivers come out, Carmen Sienna will come out in the 44, followed by Austin Mongold, the 91.
That car has changed hands multiple times, but all have been Arrowhead racing machines. And Carmen Sienna has slowed down her roll a little bit here, but if she takes a win here, who knows, maybe she'll go back to full-time entry and try to get back in a seat to try to contend for any sort of glory. But away she'll fly on the backstretch here. Now gearing up, getting her line, and you'll see a lot of drivers hug the wall out of 3 and 4 to try to get the tires warmed up, try to get that little extra speed rather than taking the low line around. So the 44 will cross the line now and start her flying lap.
New colors for the 44 used to be the Home Depot Pro machine. Now it's going to be that Araska 44 that we'd normally see Carmen Sienna in. We will see if this remains a part-time entry for Arrowhead or if she's going to try to run it all season long. Stays on the low line. Carmen Sienna going into turns 3 and 4. Hot behind her, Austin Mongold also on the track right now. Let's see where Carmen Sienna will finish her qualifying run. On into the quad oval they go, past the Geico restart zone. Crosses the start-finish line for a time of 31.372, provisionally fourth right now.
Matching the car number 4-4 and currently P4. Here's Austin Mongold, the Dr. Pepper man, driving for Ascent Racing across the line. Looked like he slowed up just a tiny bit, but it's going to be, well, P4. So that's the 4th driver putting themselves in P4. We'll see if any other drivers can add to that contusion. More cars will now file off indeed, including another driver that was on that winless drought list, the 17, Zachary Meredith, and the Pizza and Wings machine. They will escape the pit lane now, and the other car going to hit the track at the same time is going to be the number 94 of Christopher Pendell, who took last week off after Homestead, now ready back in the machine to try to put down a good run.
See Austin Mongold finally with a Dr. Pepper sponsorship on that car. I know they've been running the Ascent colors all season long, but glad Dr. Pepper finally came on board. There's love of Dr. Pepper. It's just a natural fit, really. Zachary Meredith crosses the line for his 1 lap. And it will be a qualifying time of, check that. He's just starting his qualifying lap right now. Cross the start-finish line, and Lee is down and away. Will he's hold on to the bottom line as everyone else has? Yes, he will. That's that line, of course, the fastest way around any super speedway. It's very common in iRacing when you're running super speedways to run that low line as hard as you can, defend it in order to try to win the race, as that is the fastest way around through and through. Through the quad oval one more time, Zachary Meredith turns the time for 31.343. Have not been able to reach our pole sitter just yet.
Yeah, that's a blistering lap. We'll see as the track goes on if that can happen. As the 94 will come across the line now as well in the Mountain Dew machines. We've gone from Dr. Pepper to Pepsi products. It's going to be the front row right now for Pendell. It's going to be a 31.30, but still a little bit away from the 34, but at the very least, it'll be a front row starting spot at the moment. Next 2 cars going to skip the pit lane. It's going to be the 27 of Martin Roberg. We haven't seen him in a little bit, filling in for Selena Thompson, usually piloting that machine. And the other car going to pile on out is going to be the 11 of Casey Ellis. They will also be hitting the track now as we speak. One more thing to note as we come off of 3 and 4 here right now, take a look at that glare. That is going to be a little bit distracting, especially in qualifying, where it can be just a little bit disorienting enough that it could pull you off your line and really make it hard to hit that bottom. So we'll have to see how these drivers fare in the conditions. But as this 27 comes across the line now, they will start their flying lap, and let's see what time they can put on the board.
Driving for Valfreya Motorsports this week, Martin Roberg in that Chevrolet Camaro. Down in the backstretch now, Sim looking for a little bit different strategy as he's going to run the middle lane all the way down the backstretch here in Atlanta before going back down to that line, hugging it through 3 and 4. Well, Roberg put the machine, usually piloted by Selena Thompson, into the quad oval he goes, past the Geico restart zone. to the start-finish line. He will turn a live lap of 31.292. Good so far for position number 2.
That'll bump out Pendel from the front row, but Casey looking to try to bring the spoils here. Gonna have to see what they put down across the line. The 11 Ghost Energy Machine. It's gonna be a 31.386, going to be inside the top 10 at the moment, but knowing how close qualifying times are, nothing you can really sneeze at, but that is gonna be a hard pullout for the pilot of that machine. Next 2 cars hitting the track right now. The 12 of Dustin Hall will be one of the 2 machines hitting the track, and we'll see who the other one in the second. It's going to be the 18 of Shad Swatsworth, who's had a bit of bad luck, bad form of late. Going to try to bounce back. Dustin Hall, you could say, talking about him real brief here, almost came away with a win at Indianapolis on strategy, could not pull it out, and at Homestead, Miami, also came within a shouting distance, was one of the strong cars throughout the night, top 3 machine, and just lost it late with the tire strategy not playing to his factor. So Hall itching to find that victory here and add a 7th win to his total of 6, and he will now cross the line to start his flying lap.
Dustin Hall, one of 3 Unforgiven Motorsports drivers coming in tonight. The other 2 drivers still have left to make their qualifying runs out here on the track. Dustin Hall also going to go for that middle line on the back stretch through turns 3 and 4. He goes now along the bottom line, I should say, of the racetrack. Dustin Hall will come through the Geico restart zone at the start finish line. His time will be 31.270. We have a new pole sitter.
Blistering lap for the 12 machine. You never can count out Dustin Hall. Right now, he'll be on the front row. Next up was Shad Swatsworth, though, a driver that can easily bump him out of it. Across the line, it's going to be a blistering time. It's going to be a 31.282, and he's almost a 10th away from the front row now, but he'll have to settle for P3 in row number 2, and times are beginning to pick up here, and a lot of drivers are itching to try to take that pole position. Next car hitting the track is going to be the 90, the Canadian man, Dean Clavitt, in a Hot Wheels snap-on machine. As you can see, the little spinning board there. Reminds me of the old, yeah, it's going to be Scott's Turf Armament and all that, but it's reminds me of some old sponsors we've seen back in the day. But to finish my point, the 90 is going to be hitting the track, and the 22 of Gary Donaldson will be the other driver hitting the track as well. Clavitt, another driver, if you can recall back, was on that winless drought streak. We're going to try to crack that here tonight for the Truck Series champion. Across the line he will go. Let's see where he can put it.
Dean Clavitt, the 2nd Premier Racing Club driver to take his qualifying time tonight. We'll see what exactly he can do as he comes across through turns 1 and 2. Now down to the bottom lane. He's going to work that bottom lane as best he can. Not quite on the line, but good enough. Good enough. Let's continue to run with him down through turns 3 and 4. Still turning in a very quick lap, but it may not be enough to end up qualifying on the top row. Crosses the start-finish line, it will be 31.198, and I'm going to eat a little bit of crow there, it looks like. Now check, that's going to be 31.306, that'll be good enough for 6th.
Yep, match the number indeed. Gary Donaldson here in the number 2-2 machine. We'll see if he can put it in P2. Across the line, it's going to be a 31.294, and that's going to be enough for P5. So that will bump him into row 3 alongside Pendel. And that will be a good run at the very least. Still a half the field to go. Can't count your chickens before they hatch. Next car coming out is going to be the 64 William Britton. An open car indeed, trying to get into the field and try to make a run for it. The other car will be the number 99 of Yahir Rodriguez. Will be joining the fray as well. Obviously, William Britton has been strong in qualifying of late, putting their car in good spots inside the top 10, inside the top 15. So you can never count out this 64 to put down a good run. Always also willing to pull out the strategy book when need be when the race happens. 64 will hit the line now and will start their run.
Not only something else to consider here, something else to keep in mind when we watch William Britton come around, the Privateer's best finish in the HTL Cup Series has come here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Back in season 4, season 3, I should say, he finished just outside podium position, in position number 4. So if anyone's primed for a good run tonight, it's William Britton, the guy who shows a lot of swung and a lot of heart on the track, coming across turns 3 and 4, now on to the quad oval. Is he going to be able to at least retain spots from this last time around? No, he's going to qualify 10th with a time of 31.337.
Guy here looking to try to beat that as well. Coming across the line, it's going to be a 31.291, and that's going to be good enough for P4, and that will slot him in the row number 2. Next 2 cars coming out on the track is going to be the 2 of Josh Arnold, who will come out there. You can see it taken nice and gingerly, not want to make any mistakes here and make a fool of yourself on the live broadcast. And the other car is going to be the 4 machine of Zachary Apperson, will be joining the fray. Josh Arnold, if you can recall, was a round 8 driver last season, came within a shout of putting in the P4. The driver still looking for maybe to get a golden ticket to get into the playoffs. There's always a better chance here at Atlanta to do it. So as Josh Arnold comes off of 4 here, ready to gear it on up, we'll see where he can slot his number 2 machine.
The other Pizza and Wings podcast-sponsored machine coming onto the track. Her best finish in all of the season is another mile-and-a-half track, because back in Season 4, he finished 4th in Kentucky. So another driver who's familiar with these type of tracks, who knows how to make it work around the track. He is poised to have another one poised to have a good run tonight. Josh Arnold on the bottom line, trying to get as much speed as he can out of that number 2 Pizza and Wings podcast car. Now coming off the line into the quad oval. Where will he finish? He's going to finish with a time of 31.29, and that's going to be good enough to tie you here. Rodriguez just behind him in position 5.
You could split all those drivers in the top 10 by hairs right now, and you have to be smooth and stable if you want to get towards the front. Zachary Apperson not running the Ghost engine machine, running some new paint here today, is going to run a 31.299, good enough for P8 for the number 4 machine. Next 2 cars hitting the track now, the 50 machine, usually piloted by Lilacs here, James Wright filling in tonight, going to pilot that machine, and the other car hitting the track is going to be the rookie of the Mache Datsun, is going to pile on out right now as well. They are showing great performance in that 31, making improvements every week. Could definitely be a shout to make something happen here. But as James Wright comes off of 3 and 4, we're riding on board with him. One quick pipeline I'm hearing through the news board right now. Kelly Height right now is having some audio issues in her 8 machine, so she could be a driver that does not take the green flag here. So keep an eye on that story as the 50 of James Wright comes across the line to start their run.
Lilacs here 2 weeks ago had a podium at Sonoma Speedway, so it's a shame to see her not on the track, but we wish her the best and hope that she'll be back here soon, as James Wright will take the time for in the 50 machine. All across the backstretch now into turns 3 and 4. The 50 of James Wright will come back to the start-finish line in just a moment here, hoping to break into that top 10. Is he going to make it? Current time for him is going to be 31.384. That's going to take him outside the top 15.
Not a good run for the 50 machine. DeMonte Dotson going to come across here next. Where can they slot their machine? The rookie is going to do a 31.295. I've seen that combination of numbers at least a couple times, and that's going to be P8. So split the hairs, going to put them in row number 4. Apperson will fall 1 to P number 9. Next 2 cars get ready to hit the track here. The number 96 is going to be one of those 2 cars. At 96, obviously Tommy Reynolds, the driver to win the last plate race, Daytona 500, hitting the track here, trying to make a good run. The other car is going to be the 9, the Eli Sasek, one of those drivers that's currently riding high in the point standings, but is still yet to find a win. Actually, highest driver in the point standings without a win. So trying to get a win and join the fray of winners.
Tommy Reynolds, part of that Arrowhead Motorsports shakeup. Normally we saw him in 7. We saw him in a number of different cars, filling in the 44. He's in the 96, previously occupied by Carmen Sienna. The rookie was a 4-time ABN Champ Car race winner. Not sure if this is going to be his permanent ride for the rest of the season, so stay tuned. If you're into drama, Arrowhead is turning the racetrack into a soap opera right now. Tommy Reynolds now going through turns 3 and 4. The Daytona 500 winner knows how to make it work on super speedways, so this could be a great track for him. At the start-finish line, he's going to turn in a time of 31.273, put him on the front row.
Oh, good lap there for Arrowhead Racing, who some would call right now with their Super Speedway package, the DEI, the 2000s. They're definitely finding form at these plate tracks to get their drivers good performances. The 9 will come across the line next, and that looks like an all right lap, but not the greatest. A 31.347 for the 9 8-cent race machine of Eli Sasek, and that is going to be a little bit of work to do when the race fires off in just a little bit. Next 2 cars hitting the track right now, you got the 29 of Alfred Denny. He'll be one of the 2 cars hit the circuit. The other car will be the number 28 of Matthew Boone will be the other car hitting the track, who has also got a long winless route to his name as well. Alfred Denny, a driver that's consistently running top 10s, knocking on the door, trying to find his first victory here in the HTL Cup Series. And at the same point, though, his best finish came at, I was going to say it was Atlanta, but it was actually Richmond, a little bit more to the north. But regardless, this 29, though, definitely a strong driver to keep an eye out for, and he'll start his flying now.
Alfred Denny running a paint scheme very reminiscent of Kevin Harvick in his rookie year. According to lore, the paint scheme was actually inspired by the ride of the Intimidator Dale Earnhardt that he took over. It was a reverse paint scheme, and according to Richard Childress, the number was selected because it was the first number available that did not include the number 3 in it. So, historic season all the way around, an historic paint job for Alfred Denny tonight. Can he make it a historic night for him, crossing the start-finish line? 31.359 would barely keep him in the top 20.
At the very least, he'll match the number 9 in his last digit there, putting the 19th right now. But as Matthew Boone in the 28 will come across the line now, it's going to be a 31.3 flat, and that's going to be P11 just outside the top 10. Going to be itching for a little bit better, but at least it's towards the half front of the field. Next 2 cars hitting the circuit, as we say, is going to be the 25, Blake Henderson, at the longest winless drought of drivers on that list there, looking to get that win, and also hometown track for the 25, so if he could get that win in front of the virtual faithful of his hometown, I don't think that is something he'll sneeze at. The other car on the track is going to be Seth Wansing, no stranger at these plate tracks here, back in the car after missing the last couple weeks. See if he can also put down a good run as well and bring home some glory with his new number on the car. As the 25 will come across the line now, Blake Henderson will start his flying lap.
And you know the dead man is cognizant of his dead streak of not being able to win a race here tonight. Home track, home advantage in a fast car. You know the Tombstone Motorsports driver is going to be hungry tonight to try to get a win, not only for the hometown fans, but for himself as well. Bit of a wiggle in turns 3 and 4 that could come back to haunt him. Will the dead man rise once again, or will he be Quagmire back in the pack, crossing the start-finish line? He will turn it into 31.296. So far, that puts him in the top 10.
Not a bad run, not a bad run. Maybe not the best run he could have had, but hey, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. Seth Wansing up next, across the line, usually strong qualifying. Not going to be the greatest run, a 31.302. That will put him P13. But considering when you look at the times right now, P1 to about P22, and actually P23 is separated by a tenth, 0.10. You definitely can got to be smooth and stable when it comes to the wheel. Next 2 cars up now is going to be Pacey Wygant, one of the few drivers that runs full-time that has a win this season, got his win at Fontana, and the other car is going to be the 71 of Lily Pelletier-Sharp, who started on the front row for the Daytona 500. So 2 strong drivers at the plate racing, and away the 00 will come across the line here. Can he get a second win? Well, the only time will tell as he will start his qualifying run.
Pacey Wygant having a heck of a career so far here in the HTL Series. He was the Truck Series Season 1 champion. He has a win on this year's campaign. So you know the Coast to Coast Racing driver is feeling a lot of confidence, especially as we count down towards the chase for the Cup. Coming soon, in just about, 6 more races to go, plus or minus, as we get ready to go, as we continue to run through qualifying here. Through the quad oval into the start-finish line, Pacey Wygant across the line at 31.247. The king is dead. Long live the king.
Yeah, Pacey Wygant going to put a stamp on and show why he's strong at these plate races. But a driver that can rebuttal, it's going to be the 71. If they come across the line now, where can the French-born driver put it? It's not going to be the greatest. It's going to be a 31.328, and that's going to put the 18 in, the 71 in P18, matching her car number in a few other series. Next 2 cars hitting the track now is going to be the 20 of Hunter Peach, driving a kind of similar to a Tony Stewart Home Depot paint scheme at the very least, but obviously with a little bit of a different flair to it. The other car on the track is going to be the 81, the Hello Kitty, Joshua Sosi, defending champion, and won a race this season as well, looking to try to be the first driver to join the 2 Winners Club in the early part of this season. But first, Hunter Peach says he's going to come off a 3 and 4, running that high line again, doing what most drivers have done, not trying to shake up the mold and try anything different. As he'll come across the line, now going to drift to the bottom. We'll see if he holds the bottom throughout his lap here as he starts his run.
Good run so far for Hunter Peach, running down on the bottom side of that line. The driver of the number 20 machine, eager to try to continue to run strong tonight. As it looked, Joshua Susi also in the 81. Funny fact, he did win, if memory serves me correct, he did actually win a race in that Hello Kitty paint, so he might be bringing it back, hoping that the paint scheme will bring him a little bit of luck tonight as he tries to become the first driver to win 2 races. Hunter Peach crossed the line, 31.309. That is going to put him in position 17.
Yep, you would be correct. He did get his one and only win this season in that bright pink machine. So maybe brought him a little bit of luck. At the same point, brought his daughter some joy. As he comes across the line, it's going to be P12 for the 81 machine. Going to just be in row number 6 at the moment. We're going to coming near the end of qualifying right now. Almost out of drivers here, but we still got a few more to go. 33, a Josh Gaiman up next. Driver that won stage 1 last week, and also came within a chance, and finished second in stage 2, came within a snowball's chance of winning the race overall, but just again, bad strategy, didn't play out, but still got a podium though, so he can't sneeze on that as he's trying to get a good recovery drive going here. Other car flanking him will be the 3 of Caitlin Height, so teammates out on the circuit at the very least. So the 33 of Josh Gaiman looking to keep this good former run going as he will come across 4 and start his flying lap now.
The Valfrea Motorsports driver of Joshua Gaiman, they're actually in a technical alliance with Lady Liberty Motorsports, Caitlin Height, representing them on the track right now. Gaiman, though, looking to make some noise in the Marconi Speed Shop Chevrolet out there, running the middle line, as we've seen a lot of drivers do here in qualifying before darting all the way back down to the line, to the red line down there. Now remember, you cannot pass under that red line. That red line means do not go under, do not pass, and that could play into this race tonight. Joshua Gaiman will score a position number 6 with a 29.459 or 31.288 qualifying time.
Yeah, good lap by the 33, and now it's the 3. We'll try to put down a good lap. Can they bump Wyjet off the front row? We have 31.289, and it's going to be P7 for the 3 machine, also trying to join the 2 winners club with her win at Indianapolis. Last car coming on the track now, it's going to be the 21 of Ryan Pinnell, as the other 2 cars they have yet to put down times. The 19 of Connor Morse and the 8 of Kaylee Height have yet to put down times. The birthday girl still dealing with audio issues. We'll see if she can maybe get it fired up and maybe try to start this race, but only time will tell. So last car up is going to be the last of the 3 drivers that are homegrown here in Georgia. We had Cody Pinnell, Blake Henderson, and now Ryan Pinnell in the number 21 machine, inspired by a Ryan Blaney paint scheme he just won with last night at Iowa. So he's going to start his flying lap now in the RaceArcs.com machine.
The 21 of Ryan Pinnell related to the 38 of Cody Pinnell, except Ryan's going to be running those colors for Unforgiven Motorsports out there as he goes on to the back straightaway. Getting ready to be our last qualifier, Callie Height and Connor Morse, both not looking like they're not going to be able to take any qualifying time. We'll see if they can make a last-minute push, but it's all up to the 21 if he can get to the start-finish line before they go. Do the quad oval one more time, and Ryan Pinnell will turn in a time of 31.385. Rough qualifying time to put him at 31st.
Yeah, definitely a kick in the teeth lap. But hey, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. It's definitely a good chance to at least work some positions up and avoid some of the early drama. But there is your pole sitter right now, the double pink machine, the 00. But it looks like we're going to get possibly one more car here. I'm hearing it through race control. So we'll have to keep an eye on that right now. Keep an eye to the edge of the pit lane. But at the moment right now, that pink machine filling your mirrors is the car sitting on provisional pole and could be pole if one car does not fire off here. We'll see if it's the 19 or the 8, but we're still holding for a second here. And as that top, it's kind of nervous time though if you're the 00, just waiting out, waiting for your fate if you can clinch that pole position.
Checker flag has flown over qualifying. The qualifying session is officially closed, so Pacey Wychen can now take a deep breath. He is officially your pole sitter tonight. Dustin Hall will join him on row number 1. So glad to have you here with us tonight as we get ready for a quick warm-up session before we go down to green flag racing tonight. 142 laps around Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's going to be a very quick race. Expect these guys and gals to go fast around this track as we get ready for starting lineup here in just a moment. Before we go into that, though, Kevin, I want to get your thoughts. Real quick, what are you expecting out of this race? Is it going to be a free-for-all, or are we going to see some strategic driving that you would see on a super speedway?
Well, this is a very odd super speedway overall. Obviously, it breaks the mold of other super speedways and definitely changes the norms. These tires matter, like we've said. Line positioning is different. Usually, you'll see cars side by side, but after a couple laps, you can't really run side by side anymore. You have to pick a line and kind of hold it. So it all comes down to point where you got to hold it. So I think we're going to see a bit chaotic, but when chaos breeds things, sometimes odd strategies play out. So I think we're getting a little bit of both. I think it's going to be a free for all, but we're also going to see some strategy play out. Maybe a driver we're not looking at right now going to try to set up a good time and maybe shock the world.
Two drivers will be starting at the end of the line at grid. It'll be the 93 machine belonging to DJ Trout and the 28 of Matthew Boone. Both during the qualifying time, but they're telling everybody that the race control's telling them that they will have to start at the end of the field. So they will start at the back tail end with Callie Height and Connor Morse, assuming they take the green flag.
Yeah, we can tell you right now those penalties were handed out after Homestead last week with incidents they both had. So they both were deemed the at-fault driver, both gotten penalties for it, and will have to serve those penalties and start the tail end of the longest line. But at the very least, though, at the tracks to get a penalty on, this is definitely one that it will sting the least. So it could, and maybe even work out as a benefit. So that is overall not the worst thing that could happen to those drivers. So as we see a nice little crowd shot, a full crowd here tonight in the virtual land of Atlanta as they are getting their nice little money's worth as we get some other cool shots here, including a shot that may not be up to OSHA violations as it's a drone or a little robot on track. But hey, that's why Virtual World shows you the cool shots in the cool virtual places of virtual Atlanta.
Also good to note that they won't have to go down pit road coming off of turn number 3. They'll be able to come anywhere between turns 3 and 4 to come down pit road. That could play a big difference, especially if we get some green flag pit stops throughout the night. If we do have some green flag pit stops, it'll be up to the drivers where they want to come off, of course, but with the speeds being so fast, I'm going to be really entertained to see who's going to use the full apron to slow down and who's going to just try to take it off turn 4 and slow it down to the slow pit lane speed.
I think you got to take it off the backstretch if you got to be cautious. I mean, if you're the only car out on track, maybe 2-3 cars, or running with teammates, you can take that risk. But if you're at a full pack, I don't think you can merge off of 4 going about 180, 190 and get that thing down to 50 without either taking someone with you to the infield care center or at the very least getting the wrath of the speeding gods and having to do a 45-second stop hold to serve a penalty. So we'll see how drivers are daring, but when you give drivers a challenge and give drivers a chance to gain time, you know these drivers will take it. It's almost in their DNA to take risks, take challenges, and try to find the fastest times they can to put down good laps.
Qualifying done and everyone shaking out the cars. Kevin, who do you like in the race tonight?
Oh, that's a good question indeed. Obviously, if I had to say 3 drivers looking over the line, we'll start off with a pole sitter, Pacey Wygant. Can never count him out these plate races. Usually not the strongest driver, has some problems during the race, but he's definitely a driver to watch out for and to keep an eye on. If I had to go through the other 2 real fast, kind of skimming the field, I'll also say the 3 of... actually, we don't go with 3. We'll go with Bobby Blowers. His super sub driver won the last time we were at Atlanta, was definitely strong in that regard, and also finished second in the Truck Series. So you can't take away the driver that won previously. That will be my second driver to watch. And the last driver, I'll throw a bro into the 5 of Seth Wansing. I've seen him at these plate races. He's knocking on the door to find a victory, and I think he will be a driver to keep an eye on as well in that Bass Pro Shops 5 Toyota. So those are my 3 drivers to keep an eye out for here on the High Banks Atlanta. Joe, who do we keep an eye out from your perspective?
First driver, obviously, is the 96 of Tommy Reynolds. He's already won on a super speedway. He knows what he's doing out here, and he's got a lot of confidence. Just because the numbers change, don't change the idea of what he can do out there. I think he's going to have an incredible run here tonight. I think Gary Donaldson is overdue for having a good race tonight. With him starting just outside the top 10, he's got a lot of opportunity to move forward and really make a lot of noise early in the race. And of course, the 81 of Josh Susie. He's already won a race. He's bringing back the lucky colors that are going to bring a smile to everybody's face. So I really think he's got a chance to be the first 2-time winner on the season and play spoiler to somebody's chances at making the playoffs tonight.
I think at the very least right now, I know one driver is currently shaking his fist right now is Blake Henderson hearing this news and chaos. He's definitely a driver that's ready to make us eat crow and prove us wrong. But we are now getting ready as we have finished up at warm-up and head on to the race. And I think we're going to have the starting grid here in just a couple seconds. So, Joe, why not take us through who's starting up front?
Starting up front here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the HTL Cup Series, round number 9. Pacey Wygen will start position number 1 on the outside of him. Dustin Hall will be the other sitter on the front row, position number 2. Tommy Reynolds and Bobby Flowers will take up row number 2. Chad Swatsworth and Joshua Gaiman will be row number 3. Row number 4 belongs to 3 of Caitlin Height. The inside, the 99 of Yair Rodriguez in 8th. And finally, waking up our top 10, the 2 of Josh Arnold and the 27 of Martin Roberg filling in for Selena Thompson.
Moving further down the field, we got Gary Donaldson next up, along with DeMonte Dodson, the rookie who's improving every week. That will be P number 6. P17 will be the longest winning streak, Blake Henderson, and the defending champion, Joshua Sosi, in row number 7. Zachary Apperson and Matthew Boone in row 8. But remember, Boone is actually not getting the pedal. He'll be in row number 8. He's going to the back. Row number 9, Seth Wanzen and Christopher Pendell. They'll fire off in row number 9. And in row number 10, you got Dean Clavitt and Hunter Peach bringing up the top 20. Next up, in row number 11, we got Cody Pinnell and Lily Pelletier-Sharp. Debutante Cody Pinnell looking to strike while the iron is hot. Row number 12, DJ Trout, another driver going to the back, and William Britton will make up row number 12. Row 13 is going to be Zachary Meredith and Eli Sassick, 2 drivers that are stronger than their qualifying positions, will be in row 13. Row 14, the Dr. Pepper Man of Austin Mongold and Alfred Denny will be in row 14. Row 15 will be our own Carmen Sienna, chairwoman of ABN, and James Wright, the fill-in driver for Lilac Sear, will be in row number 15. Row 16 will be Ryan Pennell and Casey Ellis, the fill-in driver for Lily Frazier, will be in row 16. Row 17 will be Richard Odie and Kevin Gibney Jr. As we go on to row 18, we got Caleb Carter and the birthday girl, Callie Height. Looks like she's back in. We'll see if she heads out on the track. If she is, she'll join the fray. And the last car is going to be Connor Morse. If he is on the track, he will be firing off in last position in P37 or 19.
Not entirely last position, as we have a couple drivers who are forced to go back to the field. DJ Trout, Matthew Boone will stop from there where they're at, and they'll be starting at the very back of the field, as we have one more parade lap left to go. Pacey Wygen, I'm sure, is just as excited to get there, but Callie Height we'll celebrate a birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday to the driver of the Elf machine, Callie Height. Glad to see her on track tonight, and glad to see her celebrating her birthday.
The pace this race is going, in some time zones right now, it is already technically her birthday. The time zone she's currently in, it's not yet, but what a way to kick off your birthday in a couple hours if you can pilot a car to victory lane. Here's a little onboard shot. Now we're actually right on board with the hood camera, and she's going to have a long way to go as she could not qualify due to audio issues. She'll have to work her way towards the front.
3 stages for the race tonight, breaks at 30 and 90. These drivers will have 6 sets of tires available, and I'm going to be surprised if they don't use all 6 sets of tires. Fuel windows about 36 to 39 laps on a 12-gallon fuel cell, and the craziest stat right there, 45-mile-per-hour pit lane speed, coming from nearly 200 miles per hour in the draft, have to lower it down to 45 miles per hour in order to avoid a speeding penalty. Watch that, the tires and the pit lane speed. Those are going to be the 2 things that you're going to have to watch for tonight as these drivers try to make it work.
Last thing to know as well, drivers do, since it is a plate race, they do have one fast pair in their back park if you need it, but obviously you don't want to burn it that quickly and that early. As the pace car is going to get ready to pull on off, Joe, why don't we get these things started and let these 142 laps fire on off.
Pacey Wygen, Dustin Hall, your front row. Through the Geico restart zone they go. Green flag flies, and we are racing one more time at Atlanta Motor Speedway, deep in the heart of the Peach State. Kevin, you're doing great out there.
I think you're doing well too, Joe. And as we complete lap number 1, it was a close finish there, but it's going to be, I think Dustin Hall got it by a fender. Pacey Wygant still leading that bottom train at the very least. You can see it a little bit further back. Monty Dodson trying to push the 27, but up front though, it's a 0-0. Going to stay low or go high. Going to drift on high. Ditch Tommy Reynolds at the altar. Now the question is Wygant going to reflect the decision as he almost gets a bad bump from Hall? And you can see maybe both drivers flash a little bit of their lives to their eyes, and that is going to pay dividends to the Arrowhead cars on the low side as Reynolds will lead lap number 2.
Tommy Reynolds, Chance Wadsworth, stay patient, running the low line, and even though there are 2 lines of racing right now, the fastest way around is in that inside line. So Tommy Reynolds, Chance Wadsworth, they will take that lap number 2, and now they're going to go high as well, lead a lap up at the top, open the door for Caitlin Height. I don't think Caitlin Height has the push though, or the engine power, not quite yet. So on the top line, Tommy Reynolds, Chance Wadsworth will continue to run. Here comes Pacey Wygant though, trying to get the ball back.
Wygant and Hall both going to jump low there right now, not going to allow the Arrowhead cars to link up on that high side, and that's the risk of being on that low line, is that as cars move forward and ditch to go to the high side, the front line of kind of riding, you're going to see cars lose momentum on that low side and have to really get geared back up. They want to try to make something happen here. But Wygant and Reynolds are going to be side by side. We're pushing each other on lap 1. Now going to be side by side fighting for the lap lead here. It's going to go to Reynolds by a fender, but I think Hall is going to make sure Wygant gets clear here coming out of the next couple corners.
Top 10 cars, or top 20 cars have broken away in their own draft. Last car in that group, and I believe will be the 17 of Zachary Meredith, as we already have one driver who's on the apron slowing down. That's Dustin Hall on the 12 machine. Not sure what happened to the outside pole sitter, maybe a little bit loose. We'll have to check what happened later. Meanwhile, back up front, Tommy Reynolds continues to show the way from the high side. He will lead another lap.
I can tell you what exactly happened there. That is self-preservation in its finest. I think Dustin Hall's the driver we saw at Daytona once, kind of ride in the back, and he decided to take the opportunity when he had it coming off the 2, check his ticket, head on to the back, and make sure he lives to fight another day. We ride aboard here with Shad Swanson. We're going to give a good old shunt to the number 96 machine and try to push the Arrowhead teammate well clear here. And that's the one thing being in technical lines is having teammates. You don't have to worry about them ditching you this early on, trying to make selfish moves. You know, you can kind of ride comfortably and hold position until at least you get to the end of the stage.
At least they get to the end of the stage. Nothing important. But Tommy Reynolds, Pacey Wygant still battling up front for position. Now Caitlin Height's in that mix as well, so move the number 3 up to potentially win a lap out here. Tommy Reynolds with everything he can to fight off both Caitlin Height and Pacey Wygant. Wygant has the advantage coming off of turns 3 and 4. To the restart zone they go, and Wygant will now lead a lap. The hardest thing we're going to be counting here tonight is how many lead changes. It's only been lap 8, and I think we've had 6 lead changes.
Oh yeah, indeed. It's only been a handful of drivers taking those leads, though. Probably 2 to 3, actually. Wygant, Reynolds, and I believe you could probably throw Dustin Hall in there as well. But not many lead changes happen, but not many different drivers are leading those laps. Bobby Flowers is riding on board here now. Super sub Bobby Flowers trying to make that high line work. As you can see, momentum losing on that high line as now 4 or 5 cars have gotten clear. Now the question is there about a no confidence vote if some car can't get it going? Maybe a driver jumps up high and tries to change the train. Maybe they try to shuffle out a car. They feel like it's underperforming. You will see that as it goes on if it affects the longest line here. But now 3-4 cars clear deep. Wygant and Height working towards the front. And even Josh Arnold there creeping around thirds. We'll cut back to Connor Morse. Now we'll cut back to the lead as Wygant is looking clear to lead another lap.
One more lap around the track we go, and it's getting very racy down here, which is not a bad thing. These drivers are all working as hard as they can, are all doing everything they can to keep everything going on the track out here as we continue to run.
James Wright also going to pull out of the track here as well. Heard it on the radio comms. He wanted to check out as well. Not feeling comfortable, right, at the very least. Another self-preservation move. One car. We're going to actually check right now. We're going to run over here with Callie Height here in the number 8 machine, the birthday girl. And she's one of those few cars in the back, deep in the pack right now. Currently riding just outside the top 30, currently 31st. Just kind of riding here, not really pushing too hard, has safety distance, so just in case there's a big pile-up, you don't have to worry about getting run into or getting checked up. So hey, if you can't get towards the front, work strategy to get yourself towards the front. One more thing note as well, they're close to catching up a car here, put it one down. It's going to be the 64 William Britton, just crossed the start-finish line now. And at the pace they're going, they will catch him. He seems very slow here at the very least. So see if that 64 maybe having a fire-off issue, but that pack's getting bigger and bigger in the mirror. And with this track being so narrow and so short, the question is, where will he plant his 64 machine?
I think that's the question a lot of these drivers are going to be facing as we ride now on board. I believe, as Pacey Wygen, you see a full bumper of Caitlin Height all over the back end of Wygen there, trying to make an unforced error, trying to get Wygen out of the way. Not going to force the issue, but certainly going to put a little bit of pressure on him, see if they can make him move, if they can get her around, as we have another lap car now coming up. I believe that is going to be Britton, who's going to get out of the way, get out of Calamity's way, take the lap down now, and try to preserve himself for the future.
Good news is he'll be the only car going one down. At the late gates going, he probably will be the only car going one down. So it makes no sense to fight, makes no sense to really challenge and make some enemies here. Just get out of the way, live the fight another day, and get back on the lead lap the next time by. Riding aboard in the cockpit of the 00 who's leading this way. Chaos has kind of chilled out here, and the 00 is making that low line his prisoner right now, and the 3 is helping out in that opportunity as well. So look now, you got a few teammates a little bit further back here, maybe trying to make some moves, maybe ditch the high line, as next time by we'll have 16 to go in the stage, as this stage is almost halfway completion.
Pacey Wygen continuing to run a very defensive line down low. Caitlin Height, Josh Arnold, Gary Donaldson all in line. At the very top, though, the 96 machine continues to run that high line. No support whatsoever from any of the drivers up there, plus the low line doing a little side drafting, trying to keep him behind. I think they know Tommy Reynolds is a threat to win here, and all he needs is a little bit of boost, a little bit of push from the drivers behind him, and he too could have a real big shot at winning this race.
He's definitely a driver that we saw win stage 2 Daytona 500. He's no prisoner taking stage wins and stage victories, so you can never count out the 96, nay, an Arrowhead car when it comes to plate racing. But one of the driver that could be in a bit of danger is the car currently in second position, the number 3 of Lady Liberty Motorsports in Caitlin Height. As you look out on the kind of the screen here, the 00 is for coast to coast, and the 2 is for coast to coast. And there comes an opportunity where maybe they can ditch the 3 and make it a lineup between the 2 of them. Opportunity could open, but with how aggressive the 3 is pushing and the 2 is pushing as well, maybe no reason to rock the boat, at least for now, to kind of bring the boat stability to the end of the stage.
Over halfway through stage number 1, Wygen continues to lead. Height, Josh Arnold, Gary Donaldson, your top 5, and now it looks like that 96 machine is under fire a little bit as the side drafting gets more and more aggressive. The 96 continues to run very strong up there, but the problem is he's getting a little bit of push now from the lower line, trying to keep him back there, trying to make sure he doesn't make the advances, and he's slowly trying to work his way back up front.
And we'll see it as we kind of go on. We'll go over some of the tips and tricks of plate racing. Right now it's side drafting to the aggressive to try to keep the car back, and you saw a car get a little bit loose. That was the 96. He got a little bit wobbly along with the 22. Almost came to blows, almost came to touching. But they all keep it going in the right direction. More importantly, we keep it clean and we keep it green. But as these tires begin to wear, cars are beginning to get even feel looser and skatier, and that can spell doom and gloom if you're not ready to catch the skate.
Certainly could create a lot of problems out there if you're not sure what you're doing, if you're not sure how to get it done. But again, this is one of those very challenging tracks. And what's challenging about this is, unlike a traditional super speedway where you have time to make an adjustment, where you have time to get out of the way, you don't have that liberty. It's a 1.5 mile track. It's a lot more enclosed than other tracks. And so if something bad happens, you've got to make a move quick. You've got to decide what you want to do very quickly and hope that it was the right decision.
Less reaction time, but look at the speed. So hitting about 181, 184 down the straight, the corner being 178, which is slower than you usually see at Daytona and Talladega and other more conventional tracks. But even then, with the shorter real estate and the shorter track mileage, like you said, those reaction times just have to be extremely sharp to make something happen. We'll cut a little bit further back here and check out the second pack, second groove here, led by DJ Trout and co. Only 4 cars in this pack. They're beginning to lose a little bit of time hand over fist, though, but I think, again, maybe a bit of self-preservation here, riding aboard, I believe, with the 19 of Connor Morse. It's actually the other car in question here, as you can see, pushing along here, DJ Trout, trying to make moves. It's Matthew Boone, the 28. Remember, had an EOL, had to serve it, so two of those cars there. Richard Odie as well in that pack as well, and Callie Height as well, still dealing with audio issues. So just making it work, making it happen, and they won't have any risk of going a lap down. But one car that could fall down in that risk right now is Dustin Hall, currently exiting P2 right now, packed in the middle of 1. There's a good chance there could be some competition for the Lucky Dog.
A little bit of competition, possibly, as Dustin Hall could be the first one swallowed up by this train. Pacey Wygant going 186 down the back stretch. Dustin Hall 172 by himself in the turn. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they catch up to Dustin Hall, and it could be in less than a lap as Pacey Wygant continues to be the Pied Piper here, leading a whole snake of cars around that very, very low line. Wygant has this on lockdown. But I think everyone also doesn't want to rock the apple cart just yet. Everyone is running conservatively, knowing that if you want to finish first you must finish.
Another thing we just saw there, as Kristina pointed out there, keep an eye on the speed differentials there. You had the car right now, Dustin Hall, running about 174, 175 top down the straights. Meanwhile, the car leading the pack right now, which is Pacey Wygant, running 184, 185. You got a little bit further down, they could obviously be topping out 186, 187. So that 10 mile an hour is showing itself right now as they've caught Dustin Hall. Hanover fist here in a couple laps. They will put him a lap down here, coming a lap 25. There's a good chance they will catch Pendel, maybe even 50 at James Wright, as Dustin Hall will go to the high side, which is not what Reynolds wanted to see along with Chad Wadsworth. So he'll have to try to quickly avoid and make it 3 wide from the tribal, which is always very sketchy.
Always very scary when you have to go through that quad oval 3 wide. And it looks like that driver's going to try to continue to run it a little quicker than maybe he should. Early in the race to go 3 wide, but he might get penalized for that as well. Top, that 6, 7, 8 breaking away. Traffic jam now starting around the 3 wide driver.
Dustin Hall trying to find maybe a toe, find an in spot he can get in here to get some draft. Because like I said, if Pendel gets swallowed on this pack, which he is, the question is who can get latched on the quickest and gain the most spots. Because if you get the Lucky Dog, you can take the lap back and then come pit in. But if you're Pendel or maybe William Britton at this point, that's likely not to get it. There is that risk that you will just have to take the wave around and then be off sequence, off strategy, maybe hope for a quick caution, try to get back on. So you can see a few cars trying to aggressively side draft. Even Tommy Reynolds, they're trying to push and see a puff of smoke. I think one of the cars maybe almost hit the wall, but right there they're trying to maybe save the 94, get some extra draft. And we're seeing a bit of a breakaway here. 5 cars have broken away, and now 2 packs are beginning to form.
Maybe a third pack as you see as you go back to position number 19 with a 27 Martin Roberg. Roberg was 3 wide going through turns 3 and 4, almost touched the wall up there, and now he's going to be in Quagmire in that second pack, stuck with several other drivers who are all trying to now recover and get back up with the front pack. Top 15 still racing together, top 12, top 15 still racing together, but the top 6 really starting to take some moves away from the rest of the field.
Yep, we got 3 to go in the stage right now. You got 2 coast-to-coast cars currently 1st and 3rd, 2 Tombstone Motorsports cars currently sitting in 4th and 5th, and the lone Lady Liberty machine sitting in 2nd. Now the question is, with it living a little bit racy, having teammates pays off here, and with Donaldson and Henderson being nose-tail right now, they can try to make a move, but if they be a bit too predictable, they could easily end up getting kind of caught out and blocked off by the 3, the 2, or even the 0-0. It's about timing your moves if you want to try to win the stage, or maybe they feel comfortable just getting the stage points they have. Right there, you can see 3 getting a little bit antsy, gonna push 0-0, as next time by we'll hit the white flag lap in the stage, but we have some accidents. The back car's gonna be penalized. The 94 almost got hooked.
94 almost got hooked. Great save by the 94 as pit road is closed. 1 to go this time by. And now another thing you have to worry about is Britton. He could go down a second lap. If he doesn't stay up here, he'll go down a second lap and be the first driver to go down 2 laps. It looks like he will, as he's going to give way to Pacey Wygant and company. Now here comes Caitlin Height side by side. They're going to force the issue into 3 and 4.
Look at the 2, going to follow with a teammate here, going to try to stay at the high side here. 3 is going to have no help coming off the last corners here, as it's going to be a drag race down the straight. It's going to be a coast-to-coast stage win, as Pacey Wygant and Josh Arnold will come 1-2 for coast-to-coast. Caitlin Height will have to settle for 3rd, with Donaldson and Henderson rounding out the top 5. Rest of the pack being very cordialated. We'll have to take a look when we get the stage break here. But Pacey Wygant pretty dominating in stage number 1 for the pole sitter. Can't complain about that.
Caitlin the height, great power move, but not enough as Pacey Wygent and Josh Arnold will take positions 1 and 2 to start the race and get through the first stage of the race. Caitlin Height third, Gary Donaldson fourth, Blake Henderson fifth, Jazz Wadsworth, Tommy Reynolds, Yair Rodriguez, Seth Wansing, and Zachary Apperson running around your top 10.
More importantly, keeping an eye on the lap down progress here. I believe it went to James Wright as he was the car of the 3 the headest. So he should get the lucky dog here. He put back on the lead lap. More importantly, that will pinch Dustin Hall and Christopher Pendell. 2 strong cars will be probably kept the lap down. They'll have to take the wave around, and now they're going to have to open up the strategy book if they want to be competitive again. So that's the dangers of going a lap down if you're not careful, and you got to make sure you time it up. But pit lane, going to be a very busy place as everyone is most likely going to file on in here and try to get 4 tires and fuel. Question is, will anyone roll the dice and try something different?
Everyone coming down the attention of their pit crews this time by. Look for most everyone to get four tires and a full tank of virtual Sunoco Racing fuel as everyone comes to their pit stalls. So far, no variations. Let's start with the double zero. Pacey Wygent, who is your pole sitter and led stage number 1. It is going to be outsides first, so that will be for the outside tires. Look for a 4-tire stop from them. It will be 4-tire stop as we have now some people coming off pit road. Who's going to win the race off pit road? We might have had some 2-tire takers out there as it looks like Pacey Wygent will not be the first one off pit road.
It's going to be Josh Arnold who will take first position here. So driver finishing second in the stage will take first. Caitlin Height will get second, and Pacey Wygent's virtual crew kind of letting him down a little bit. Slowest pit stop out of the top 5, a 15.32 in comparison to a 14.63 for Josh Arnold, his teammate. So as we see here, the race off pit lane there, you can see it was a very close battle there, but Arnold will get the fender ahead first, Height second, Wygent third, and Henderson in fourth, and then Swatsworth will round out the top 5.
Very aggressive race off pit road. And looking back at those drivers, everyone took 4 tires. Everyone took 4 tires and a full tank of racing fuel. So it wasn't necessarily a matter of skill or strategy. It was who had the fastest pit crew that time by. And we saw the guys who wanted it the most. They definitely made some runs for it and used the speed to their advantage.
Yep, and that's the name of the game in virtual crews, and especially if we get green flag pit stops, it's about getting your best stop you can, not missing your box, not spinning the tires, and making it work. So as the lights are now out on the pace car here, we've gotten the 1 to go. It's going to be Arnold and Height, row 1, Wygent, Henderson, row number 2, Swatsworth and Reynolds, row 3, Blowers, Rodriguez, row 4, and Monzing and Meredith, row 5. Pretty much the drivers that got stage points in stage number 1 will all fire off in the top 10, but some in different positions than where they were previously.
They'll all fire off in similar positions, but just mixed up just a little bit. We'll see if they can make another big breakaway as we saw at the end of stage number 1.
So we're going to have some Atlanta stats here right now. Previous winners, the D. Hayes and Bobby Blowers, both previous winners. Obviously, Blowers in the field right now, currently sitting in P number 7. Fastest qualifying lap was for Dustin Hall, who's currently back on the lead lap with a wave around. And the fastest race lap went to Bryce Boyer, if I'm saying that correctly, with a 29.347, a blistering lap right now, and with the fastest driver on the track right now being in a 29.55. We're still a little bit of ways away from trying to break that race lap.
A little bit of ways away from breaking that, but don't count anything out. If the weather picks up here, if things get moving, we could see some records broken tonight. We already saw a very fast stage 1. And now we're looking at another stage 2 as we look at those weather conditions. 75 and no wind out here on the track. Perfect day for racing in Atlanta. Drivers about to make the Geico restart zone. Green flag flies, and Josh Arnold will lead them to the green flag to start stage number 2.
So as they come to the line right now, looks like we're having a bit of a blink out here at the very least, but everything is holding right now. Caitlin Height will lead that lap. So she couldn't get the stage victory, but at the very least, she will lead the lap in question. Josh Arnold going to be in second position here, as it looks like we're still having some slight technical difficulties here. We'll see if we can get it all fired out at the very least. But right now, Height going to go to the low side. Henderson going to go to the high side and going to try to make that high line work.
Technical difficulties abundant. Looks like it might be an issue on the iRacing side. We'll continue to call it as best we can. The current new leader up front, maybe Tommy. No, check that. It'd be the dead man, Blake Henderson, putting the tombstone on the rest of the field. He will be your leader right now, followed by Tommy Reynolds in the 96. Highline dominant once again.
Car spinning in the back. Sorry to cut you off. Car spinning in the back there. It's one of the Ascent Racing machines. We stay green here, but it looks like I can't tell who it is. It's the one of them right now, and they will be way off the pace here, but we stay green more importantly, and a few other cars going to get checked up as well. Richard Odie, heavy damage to report in that as well. So multiple cars there. Austin Mongold, a little bit of damage, but we stay green more importantly.
We apologize for the technical issues. It looks like it's a bigger issue right now with the iRacing service. We will continue to call the race as best we can, but that spin out not going to be good for Richard Odie. Good news is he does have another one quick repair in the bank if he needs it, and now might be the time to use it.
Yeah, that's going to help him out, but problem is he would go one down, possibly multiple laps if so. So you got to be careful not to make those mistakes. So as you can see right there, though, up high, Meredith, Wanzing, Henderson will be, well, Meredith, Wanzing will be on the high side. Henderson will be on the low side here trying to make moves. And there's 3 wide in the middle right there. That usually doesn't spell disasters. The 18 is going to get shuffled out and possibly be the loser in this situation.
18 still trying to hold on. Pacey Wyatt not sure which lane he wants to try. He's going to go outside with the 18 of Chad Swatsworth. Swatsworth going to try to make the two tandem work. No, he'll drop back into the high line. And now Pacey Wyatt didn't know where to go. He's got to figure out how he can get back into the high line quick, or he's going to get passed up by the rest of the field very fast.
Gotta be careful here. The middle is not really as a sucker hole, but that's also risky here as it's so narrow. 3 wide always spells disaster, but luckily the 93 machine of Yair Rodriguez will slot back in. But now because of that little shuffliness, you can see it's spaced out. And now you can see as we go to the front here, the top 6 all kind of getting some breathing room here. And now they'll have some chances to try to kind of breathe out and make it less fighty towards the front.
The more they get spread out, the better the happier they are up front, as the number 2 of Josh Arnold continues to lead this set of laps, now scoring lap number 41. Eli Sasek, who was in position number 13, is going to be 1 lap down in the middle of that group. Blowers also in that group. We're seeing a lot of drivers 1 lap down being stuck in that group. Racing, yes, but they're not racing for position. They're just racing to try to get their laps back.
Yeah, that's where, again, you want to make sure you run towards the front, make something happen. Right now, you see the low line getting a bit of charge here. Reynolds thought about maybe going low there to join his teammate Swatsworth. Now he will, so we'll ditch Wanzing and Meredith at the moment. But look at that big gap between those two right now. Reynolds will have to drift back just a little bit here to get in tow with his teammate. But at the very least, they will now be linked up and try to make that low line their strong spot here.
Zachary Meredith is currently being scored as your leader. Seth Wansing second, Pacey Wyatt third. Tommy Reynolds now hooked up with his teammate Chad Swatsworth down low. They're going to try to make a run on that high side, but the high side just too dominant right now. 3 cars breaking away on that high side, and the 96 needs a little bit of help if he's going to catch up to him.
Car they're going to catch. They're going to catch Dustin Hoyer again. Remember, just got the wave around here. He's not going to really roll over and die here. He's going to pinch the low side here as the leaders requested the high side, and they will make that work. So now Halldo's going to pinch up Reynolds and Swatsworth. As you can see right there, they're going to have to split the middle here and try to dice them, and that's going to really check up that low line even more. So that high line breathing reprieve, and now the question is, will maybe a car jump down? I think the 3 saw an opportunity, and she will take it, and she will jump to the low side right now. Going to be the Pied Piper on the low side to try to get back towards the front.
So the number 2 continues to lead. Caitlin Height wants to make something work on that low side, but she's going to need quite a bit of help if she's going to make it work. The 99 will jump down there with her, and now we've got quite a bit of racing going on, as that was a 3-car breakaway. Now it's slowly being reeled in.
Yeah, you can see right there the 99 jumped down as well to join the fray, feeling like that was the right move. But now that hole is going to get filled up on the high side by Josh Arnold, so there's no givesy backsies here. He's going to have to stay to the low side and made the bet he lied in and try to go to the front. And the question is the 3 liking that move? Does they think the 99's fast enough to get towards the front? And if not, again, maybe they'll just leave him in the middle line and try to dish him here, as it looks like they're really trying to make something happen here on that low side.
Zachary Meredith continues to lead the high side, the place to be right now. Seth Wansing, Pacey Wygen, who has shuffled back, has now found his way back to position number 3. Blake Henderson still in the mix, so a lot of talent still up front, but everybody being smart, everybody playing it cool and waiting for us to get closer to the end of the stage before they start making some real moves.
Again, just like to read as well, thank you for everyone still tuning in. Obviously having some slight technical difficulties here. That's why the graphics are not currently on the screen at the moment. We'll keep you updated on the position as we try to get those technicals fished out here for the end of this race. So hang tight as we're still providing live action around here as Pacey Wygen is now going to try to charge the low line, going to ditch out behind Wansing. And look at Wansing trying to push Meredith to keep him ahead here. Meredith will lead this lap, but look at the 00. He wants his spot back. He led stage number 1, and now he wants stage number 2 here. Yair going to jump up high, but Wygen well clear. Will have his choice of lane.
Wygen is going to try to go high, see if he can hold off the advancing charging of Yair Rodriguez and company. Now here comes 17 of Meredith down low. The 00 forced to block there to try to keep the lead. Here comes Rodriguez on the high side. Can the 99 ascend to the top? Ascent Racing now leading the race.
Yeah, but now Seth Wansing, he thinks he can make a move here. He wants to lead this race. He's going to jump to the low side. Look at that aggressive side drafting there. The 5 almost went off the track, but we'll keep it pointing in the right direction. And now they'll be side by side down the backstretch. But Yair and Henderson looking lined up on that high side, ready to take some prisoners and head towards the front.
Definitely looking to make a lot of noise up front as we continue. We're barely halfway through this series and this stage, and everything's heating up now. Now the 5 getting some help from the 00. The 2 lines being racier than ever. Right now the 5 is the leader, but for how much longer?
Pacey Wygen was going to make a move there into 1. He thought about it, but thought better have a car spinning in the back. Gaiman, Sharp, all around there. Still no caution yet. We'll see if they call anything yet. 2 cars around, and now the caution will be thrown. So caution involved there, 33 and the 71 thrown. This will be a bailout for the cars that had that mistake early on around lap 35, but we'll see what happened here between the 71 and the 31.
It was a 71 and 33 that was involved in that incident. Looks like they just got somehow connected with one another, and that's going to bring out the caution flag. Maybe you had a better angle than I did on it, Kevin.
We'll see here as well. We had a couple different angles. We're riding board with the 71 currently right now. It's going to be a checkup further up there. You can see Sosi in this 27 in the game, and that caused the checkup. And that caused 71 to get around. 33 ended up getting a hook of their own on another car. So we'll get a second perspective here as well. Now falling a little bit early up just to show the stack up that happened. And actually, you can see it up there. The 99 hit the wall. And I think that caused the speed down that caused the rest of this little issue.
Pit road seems to be a busy place once again. Seth Wansing will lead everybody down to the attention of their crews. And it would not surprise me if once again everyone takes 4 tires and a full tank of Sunoco Racing fuel. They came in with 6 sets of tires to use. After this stop, if everybody uses their tires, it'll be 4. Nope, Seth Wansing will not make it 4. He's only going to take outside tires and be down and away. Zachary Meredith also on a similar strategy. The number 3, Caitlin Height, coming out as well. But it looks like it's going to be the 00 Pacey who's going to take everybody off pit road.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be Pacey winning the race there. He took 2 tires along with a bunch of other cars here. First car to take 4 tires was Yair Rodriguez. They're currently slotted in P number 8. 1 car electing to stay out. It's going to be the 71 of Lily Pelletier Sharp, who obviously you can see some of the battle scars from the previous incidents. You can see pretty much the front end a little bit scratched up here. Now trying to rattle the pace car driver's cage here. Question is she going to pit off sequence here, or is she kind of playing the long game here? Because remember, Dustin Hall was looking to get their lap back, but with the 71 staying out, that's going to pinch both the 2012 and possibly the 64, keep them a lap down here. So the 71 we'll keep an eye on if they come in this time by. They're complaining the pit lane was closed, so may have not been scheduled, but they will stay out again. So the 71 currently at the moment your race leader. with the 00, the 3, the 17, and the 5, your next 4 cars in tow. So as we continue on here, as we are going to see here, we're going to get lights are now out on the pace car here. So the few cars that were looking to get the waiver out there are not going to be able to. Luckily, with stage ending on lap 70, it's going to be a race here to get the lucky dog. As cars fire off, it's going to be Sharp, who, remember, has maybe a little bit of damage, and oldest tires in the field right now will be in row number 1 with Pacey Wide, the stage 1 winner, outside of row 1. Stage 2, that's row 2, will be Height and Meredith. Row 3 will be Wanzing and Arnold. Row 4 will be Henderson Rodriguez. Row 5 will be Denny and Sosi. And now, with a lot of these cars having 2 tires, some even taking fuel only, and with track tires being very important around this circuit, there always is that risk and there's that factor that the tires may not hold on, and cautions could be cautions. The drivers have to be ready to rip it and grip it, make sure they can hold it on, and that's. So we'll take a look at some of the averages here. First caution usually happens on lap 12. Last caution of the race usually happens with 2 to go, and the last lead change usually happens on the last lap. We've hit an average of 7.5 cautions with 29 lead changes, and the closest average margin of victory is a very, very close 0.198. So expect possibly a green-white checkered, the driver leading on the last lap to not maybe win the race, and at the same point, a very close finish to the line. You're not going to see a driver not side by side come to the line if those facts ring true. So as pace car is going to get ready and take the lonesome trip down pit lane, it's going to be on Peltier Sharp's control here, and hopefully she doesn't have any mishaps with the tires.
Peltier Sharp on the oldest equipment out there. Expect her to get dispatched quickly. She will lead a lap, and she will bring them back to the green flag and hold her own right now. But let's see what happens when everybody else gets warmed up behind her. Now it's going to be Pacey Wygent, the 00 on the outside, looking to get rid of her quick.
Yeah, that's going to be paying a factor. And look at the 5 shunt the 3 there. Told the 3, get up and go. Maybe being a little bit cautious behind the 71 with the old tires. Wanzing's like, I don't care. We're going, and we're going now. We want to make something happen here.
I think there's a lot of impatience right now for the 71, as these drivers know there's only a handful of laps. I believe 6 laps to go now when before we get to the end of the stage. There's going to be a lot of drivers frustrated at 71 who want to go, who want to compete for stage points, knowing what's on the line, but she's going to continue to hold fast, continue to lead that bottom line as the top 4 start to break away, making the top 5 as the 81 starts going to 12.
If I can correct that record at the very least, it's going to be a little bit before we get to the end of the stage. The end stage ends at lap 90, so it's going to be a little bit of ways away before we see the end of the stage. But right now, you can see the effects of the low line. Everyone's just ditched the 71 with the old tires here, and now trying to take prisoner and get back around here. You can see the 3 escaping around here. Now as cars begin to file in, now Alfred Denny is going to have to take the tow here to try to push. But right now, the 71 has gone from the top 10, now outside the top 10, and it begins to continue to fall like an anchor off the boat into the sea.
Go ahead and score Pacey Wygent, your leader, one more time as the 17 of Zachary Meredith all over that back bumper. The 2 of Josh Arnold, your winner from the previous stage, is still in the mix, and we have 2 Pizza and Wing podcast cars kind of leading everything. A good combination, like Pizza and Wings, 17 and 2.
It's a very delicious combination here, and obviously we could spend all day talking about toppings and what makes a pizza delicious, but I think right now if you're one of those 2 cars, victory is what makes a pizza delicious, as they're going to try to go in tow here. It's a coast-to-coast domination up front as they have found the Super Speedway packages. We're still on board here with Pacey Wygent's rear camera as he is just picking the lines, making the moves, and make sure where to hold it here, and just trying to make sure no one gets a fast one.
No one wants to get a fast one. Nobody wants to get out of line here as a 17 trying to force something on the 2. You see the shoving going on there from the rear bumper of the 2 machine. There's a definitely, or the rear bumper 17 machine, the 2 trying to force something to happen. The 17, though, not going to have it. He's going to continue to stay glued on the back bumper of the 00. Pacey Wygent continuing to lead. The high line, though, starting to get organized. They want to start making a run towards the front.
That high line is Georgia-born right now. You got the 2 cars leading it, 2 of the 3 Georgia drivers in the field. The debutante, Cody Pennell and Blake Henderson, trying to get towards that front right now and prove that Georgia boys can drive and can drive quite fast. Right now, though, they're still pinched on that high start, and you can see right there, Cody Pennell, it's his first HTL start. He's raced for it other series and in Nexus Machinery, but what it would be to be a debutante and win on your first race. Not many drivers can say that, and Pennell looking to add his name to the record books.
Pinnell looking to run incredibly sharp. The International Harvester Ford Mustang. Those drivers is leading that high side and leading it with a lot of class up there. We'll see if he can hold on and potentially make some noise and play spoiler at the end of this race. He's not running a full season. He's not in a chartered car, so he may need a little help if he wants to make the playoffs with a win. But still, being able to say you won your first race, there's a lot of pride in that statement as you ride on board with Chris Pinnell right beside the 96 machine. They're running side by side. The 96, another driver we started watching earlier in the race, staying competitive out here as they continue to run side by side in the backstretch.
Yeah, the 96 is another driver to try to itch his name into the 2 winners club, one of only 4 that have won so far this season on a semi-full-time basis here in the field currently. So we'll see if that can work out. But still up front, it's Pacey Wygen leading the way as we ride on board here with 3 of Caitlin Height, another driver who won victory this season, trying to make it 2, as she's currently sitting in P5, trying to get clear maybe a Cody Pinnell here, and if she does, I wonder if she'll stay on that low side for long, or maybe she'll pull out to the high side and try to make some moves here. But check up here in the front, Wygen gets left at the altar, and that's going to promote Meredith to the lead. So Wygen gets caught napping, and now he's going to lose 3, 4, possibly 5 spots, as now Cody Pinnell will have to try to push him back to glory.
I think Zachary Meredith finally got frustrated and used the chrome horn to move the 00 up to the top line, but nonetheless, the 00 now the 17, now your leader, the number 2 right behind him, and it looks like we have let's take a look at that pass one more time.
You'll see here, coming into 1 and 2 here, it's not going to be the Chrome Horn since they are a bit of teammates. That would be very bad teammate sportsmanship here. You'll see 00 kind of lifts the bottom just a bit, and the 17 says, I'll take that. Tries to check up, but Arnold shoves the 17 through, so not a lot of communication there. Maybe it was purposeful, the 00. Maybe wanted to try to change the lead, get some better fuel economy, knowing the fuel window here. But the problem is they didn't time it well, and they left their teammate out to dry, and now they'll slot in here around P6-7 on the low side, so they're going to have to try to rebound quickly if they want to win stage 2.
Call it a miscommunication for Coast to Coast Racing. Call it a bit of a botched run there, but nonetheless, Coast to Coast still controls 2 of the top 3, and I got a feeling won't be much longer until Pacey Wygen rejoins them up front. Meanwhile, the 96, check that 96 Tommy Reynolds, he's getting a little racy, going back, going forth, trying to figure out if he can get a run on the outside, and more importantly, who's going to go with him. So far, Pacey Wygen, the only car on the outside lane. Nobody dares join him, but he's got some takers if he wants to make a big run on the top.
Right, he's got no friends back there, and knowing that 00 is quite strong, and knowing there's 2 coast-to-coast machines up front, you don't want to give him another bullet in the gun to try to beat you with. So maybe it's a bit wise to let him stay on that high side alone, maybe think about what he's doing right now. So you can see, though, the second pack has re-caught up, so the 00 will get some friends here in the number 99, and they'll tow towards the front here, but it's still going to be Meredith and Arnold leading the way. But look at Seth Wanzing. He thinks he can work with 00, and he will charge into the outside line, trying to go to the front.
I was waiting for that moment. Seth Wanzing, the first one who's going to try to make it work. Now is he going to be joined by anybody else on that high side? Are we going to have any more takers to try to move up on the high side? Looks like Little Lane is getting competitive one more time as Wygen does everything he can to shove the 5 forward.
Yeah, and we'll see, though, but again, it's about timing your moves, being pushed, and we know those 2 are quite strong. Henderson got a little bit loose on the apron, but it's one thing to be towed out to the high side here. It's another thing, though, to really be able to work it. But if I had a team and I wanted 2 plate drivers, I think you could go no wrong with the 5 and 00, and I think they'll be quite strong here to go to the front, but the 5 being very aggressive on the 1 at Gibney to try to get towards the front here.
Being very aggressive at all. You know, you're right. We don't end the stage till lap 90, so we still have plenty of racing left to go. We're about 2/3 of the way through it. We're about 2/3 of the way through, plus or minus. So now there's still plenty of racing left to go, but these drivers getting a little racy. You're realizing they got to start making some moves if they want to get out front and try to win the stage.
Yeah, and some of these drivers need stage points to help them when it comes crucially time for the playoffs. You don't want to leave a spot and leave it up to chance saying, hey, I took 3rd in the stage, but a 2nd and getting 9 points out of 8 could be the difference. But now, keeping an eye on that high side, they're getting some more takers. You see Josh Gaiman join the fray right now, and that low side looking a little bit fractured, and that is going to help that high line working. Now Gaiman, again, maybe taking prisoners here, going high-low, just finding whatever he can do as we now ride aboard here with Callie Height, the birthday girl. We'll be birthday tomorrow, and she's still just riding the back, dealing with audio issues, and being ready to pick something off if it opens up.
Even despite despite having audio issues, she continues to have a good, strong run there in the back of the field, continue to go the right direction out there. So good for her being able to run out there and be able to run in this main pack competitively with the rest of this field.
Front, Wygant just gave Wanzing a bad bump and sent Wanzing hip checking into the wall right now. The question is, how bad is the 5's damage right now? As that high line, as you can see, all fractured and whatnot, up towards the front right now. So that's why I screamed. I thought we were about to see the big one on the backstretch, but only the 5 has some heavy damage here, and we'll see if that car's heavily wounded. But towards the, actually, we're still in the backpack here. If we can get an eye on the right side here, you'll see how maybe damaged it was. He took a big lick on that high side, and the question is, did he smack the speed out of it?
He definitely didn't smack the speed out of it, but he definitely is not happy with the 5 machine. Seth Wanzing now trying to recover it on that very high lane. Nobody wants to give him a hand. He's going to continue to be left out to dry up top. In the meanwhile, looks like we have a couple of guys trying to get out of the way as the 17 and the 2 continue to lead on the track. That will be the 22 machine getting out of everybody's way, letting them race as he knows he's not as competitive. Gary Donaldson getting out of the way of the drivers, still in the lead of the 17 of Zach Meredith.
And one more thing, that damage was very bad for Seth Wanzing. It wasn't bad enough that he had to pit here under green flag. So he'll go at least 1 down, possibly 2, to try to fix up the damage, but still, at least has a fast spare in his back pocket. But towards the front, you can see right now the top 3, top 5 in your screen. It's Meredith, Arnold, Reynolds, Height, Gibney, your top 5. 2 bow ties, 2 Fords, and 1 Toyota, but Wygant still trying to make that high line work here. Maybe he'll get some help here from Flowers and Rodriguez as they'll try to push him towards the front.
They're going to throw everything they can to push him up front as we ride on board with 00 of Casey Wygant. He has got a fast car. There is no denying that whatsoever. He's fast. He's got a good grip on this track. I think the biggest challenge he has is, can he make enough friends to convince them that he's not going to leave them behind if they go racing? I don't know that he's got enough power up front or enough people who are going to be like, all right, we'll get you up front, knowing that they may not get it back if Casey Wygant leads.
Yeah, it's about knowing if you can trust someone, knowing if you can work with them. And like I said, with 2 coast-to-coast cars up front, if that 00 gets close to that front, he's jumping low, he's going to jump in front of his teammates, and you are going to be left out to dry with a bucket and no washed car. I don't know where that analogy was going, but regardless, low side is still working hard here. Another car coming down the pit lane, the 71 of Lily Peltier-Sharp, obviously did not pit under the previous caution. She has ran her fuel tank dry, hoping for a quick yellow, could not get it. Now she'll have to take service down pit lane to get some 4 fresh tires and some fuel here. As, again, I feel like we're in the calm for the storm here. As this time by, we have about 6:15 to go in the stage. The question is, anyone be daring enough to maybe make something happen here?
The good news is the caution came out in the middle of the stage that allowed everybody to get fresh fuel and tires on their cars, so they should be able to go for the rest of the stage. But you're right, we're seeing the calm before the storm. We're seeing everybody relaxing, everybody getting into the groove before things go crazy as you watch Morgan Clavette getting passed by the rest of this field. It gives you an idea of how fast they're going with in that pack. If you're not in the pack right now, you are getting passed by. If you are in the pack, you can run competitively. And it just shows you how much speed they are carrying throughout this track here tonight.
He will join the 1 down crew here, and he'll actually get in the wall just a bit, trying to stay out of the way here. Luckily, will not get hit by anyone else. While we have a second here, I kind of want to take a chance here and kind of look to the halves and maybe the halves not here. You got Pack 1 here crossing the start-finish line, and then you got Pack 1 currently led by Lily Peltier-Sharp, and that's Pack number 2 as they're about to cross the start-finish line about now. Actually, it wasn't the 71, my mistake. It's actually the 94 Christopher Pendell is in that pack, second pack right there. There it is. As they just cross the start-finish line right now, and they're about a gaggle of 10, 12 cars currently sitting around P20, P25, just trying to ride it out here and not avoid any chaos.
I think that's the best you can do right now is just avoid chaos and save everything you have for the third stage. As we said before, in order to finish first you must finish. And that is definitely the case right now, as everybody's doing everything they can to avoid any big ones. Very, very clean race all the way through right now. All the drivers should be very happy with their performance. Everyone's doing an incredibly great job of keeping it clean. But if I'm in that second group right now, if I'm not in that top 15 group, I'm just kind of preserving the car, saving it for the third stage, and getting ready to go at it when the green flag drops for stage number 3, as we're about 11 laps to go before we end stage 2.
Yeah, because winning stage 1 or stage 2 is not the golden ticket to the playoffs. Winning the last stage, winning the final, getting the checkered flag, that could be the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. So I do agree with your strategy there, Joe. It's better to be preservative. It's better to be, if you're out to the top 50, top 20, just give me a clean car. Don't do anything silly. Stay on the lead lap and save that fast repair for if you need it later on. As we know, even though the HTL plate package is very strong, they're able to keep it clean, keep it very competitive. Still, chance of lightning strikes. You never know when you may be in a mishap. You really need it.
4-car group trying to stay on the lead lap. It's going to be led by the 81 of Josh Susi and company. They're going to do everything they can to try to keep up with your lead pack, but so far, no dice for these drivers. These drivers have had some form of calamity all night long, and you can see just how far the main pack is getting away from them. It's not a lack of skill, it's just when that group breaks away, it's very, very hard to get back to them.
Yeah, indeed, especially with low car counts. And we were talking about it in pre-race before even the stream started. You'll see packs form. Drivers kind of split out here. You see 7-1 getting cars letting go here. Going to go 8, another lap down. We'll join the 2-lap crew as you only see Clap smack the wall there. So being a good lap car there, not making damage. Actually, pop the smoke here. That is going to be a wreck. And multiple cars here involved. Trying to see who it is. I think it's Dean Clavitt is one of the cars involved here. Got the 33 of Josh Game, the 34 of Bobby Flowers. He is stopped on the track as well. And I think it's going to be maybe interesting to see how this plays out. But I wonder if that wall smack is what started it, and also the 25 of Blake Henderson as well.
Let's take a look here one more time to see where exactly that happened. I don't think Clavitt was the cause of that one. I think it was well in front of him. Let's see exactly where we can start. It starts around Petelier Sharp right there, as you see her squeezing down from 4 to 3 lines, and she's riding the wall pretty hard on that outside line there. Moving forward, though, it looks like the 34 just gets into the 95 and 33, or 96 and 33.
I think the 34 hits the wall. I saw a puff of smoke, and obviously a lot of white and red cars here. Oh, no, you were right, Joe. Wygent gets into Rodriguez. Wygent goes up high, can't save it, nails the wall. That gets into Blowers. That turns Blowers sideways, and at this point, knowing they're going about 180, there's not much you can do. Blowers gets into Reynolds. Reynolds in the game, and at that point, it becomes a track blocker. Cars trying to get on the brakes. Big lick there for Henderson as he ping-ponged to the high side. That's just the nature of super speedway racing. One mistake can put 6, 7, maybe 8 cars in tons of damage.
So about 8 cars involved in that one, plus or minus. Let's get a count here. It's how many cars are going to be seriously damaged as a result of that one. The 34, the 38, the 25, the 33, all seriously damaged. The 3 looked like you got a little bit of collateral damage out of that one, but not terribly. The good news is these drivers, even though some of them may have to be towed back to pit road, they'll be able to take advantage of that one quick repair and get back to racing.
We're going to look at this 4-car pack here a little bit further back here. And obviously, we're talking about riding around, preserving, not making any mistakes, especially in that point. Well, we were kind of correct on that prediction. As we ride aboard into the lead of that pack, 31 of Joshua Sosi. He knows a thing or two of running around these tracks. As you can see right there, you'll see the puff of smoke happen here. Cars getting out here, and for 4 cars, they'll start checking up here. Make sure to avoid major catastrophe here. All in tow, no one running each other over. They'll get a nice slow down. They'll all preserve themselves with no damage, and now they'll gain a few extra free spots by avoiding the calamity.
And sometimes running it, as we've seen in this kind of race, sometimes running the back group is a better part. Is a better part. You know, sometimes discretion is a better part of valor, and in this situation, it definitely was for that group because they were able to avoid the calamity. As the big one was happening, they did not get involved in it and were able to get away from it and ultimately preserve their cars for stage 3.
That's the more important, that's the money stage. So we're on lap 85 right now. Lights should go on the pace car this time by, giving us lap 86. So when we go green this time by, which we now will get the confirmation we're going green this time by, as the Monte Donson will take the wave around and we'll be back on the lead lap. That will give us, when we take the green at 87, 4 laps to the finish. And now the question is, how hard are you going to race for the stage victory, maybe if you're just out to the top 10? Because running through the order, we got Meredith, Arnold, Swatsworth, Sasek, Odie, Apperson, Sienna, Pinnell, Pendell, and Carter. Most of these cars elected to stay out to go for stage points. And the question is, can their old tires hang on? More importantly, if you're a driver right now like Yahir Rodriguez, took 4 tires, currently sitting in 13th, came in at 84, along with the rest of the pack. Do you even want to try to push for stage points? Or maybe just save your tires because you'll know the car's ahead, you're going to pit this time by, and pit at the end of the stage, and you'll retake the lead.
If I'm on an alternate pit strategy right now, I'm saving what I have and burning my last 2 sets in the stage. Right now, I'm just going to I'm going to work on my pit strategy. I'm going to work on my pace and let everybody else burn what they have so I have the better gear at the end of the race. As far as everybody else right now, you know it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath as we get ready to end stage number 2, and I would be surprised if Coast to Coast Motorsports hang on for a 1-2 finish.
At the very least, though, starting on the front line, you can control where you want to go. So one car can let the other one in, try to link up, and more importantly, not a lot of teammates in those next couple rows. So as the pace car is going to pull on off here, it's going to be on Meredith's control. Green flag is out, and away we go for the 4-lap mad dash in the stage. Like I predicted, Meredith going to jump on low here to link up coast to coast on the low line. With that outside line, a lot of cars beginning to dump out to go back to the low side.
Preservation, the name of the game. If you have great spot right now, why risk it? If you have points on the line, why risk them at all? As now we're going to see some drivers risk them up top. It's going to be Chad Swatsworth, and I believe that's the 4 car joining them.
Yeah, that's Zachary Apperson. That car has won so far this season, but Apperson looking for his first win, piloting that machine. So we'll see at the very least, maybe the stage victory could be coattailing what you need. Other cars in that line include the 21 of Ryan Pinnell and the 44 of Carmen Sienna, trying to get towards the front here. We know Carmen Sienna loves that high line at these plate tracks. Keep an eye on for her to make some moves. But as it comes through the 3, it's still a coast-to-coast 1-2, and you know Arnold is going to play a rear gunner for Meredith if need be.
Both those drivers working perfectly in concert, trying to get away from the rest of the field, even if they have hell breathing down their necks. Pit road is closed this time by, and we are now down to counting down the minutes. Flowers about to go 1 lap down as the 2 coast-to-coast drivers, Meredith and Arnold, continue to lead.
At the very least, he should be the first car going 1 down here, so if he can jump in right behind Swatsworth here, he should be poised to take the Lucky Dog. And that's what exactly he will do. So that lucky gap will play out for him and give Super Sunflowers maybe a bit of reprieve. White flag going to hit the end of the stage. Meredith, Arnold, Swatsworth, Apperson, Sasek, your top 5. Can Swatsworth, Apperson, or Sasek get some momentum going, try to upset the top 2 of Coast to Coast?
The low line continues to be the place to be. The high side, as Blowers starts to run that high side, he's just trying to get his lap back, but that could work for everybody else. The 2 now jumps to the high side, runs the block for the 17. They're not racing each other. They're racing to maintain that 1-2 finish through the quad oval one more time, and it looks like it will be the 17 of Meredith winning the stage.
One thing that didn't help there was Blowers clipping the wall there, killed the run on that high line. And that sealed it for Meredith and Arnold. They will sweep this, well, they will sweep the top 2 positions for stage number 2, and Zachary Meredith will win stage number 2. So Coast to Coast will sweep the stages here tonight, and the question is, can they get that all-elusive checkered flag? Running down the top 10 here, it's Meredith, Arnold, Swatsworth, Apperson, Pinnell, Sasek, Sienna, Odie, Boone, Carter, your top 10. And a lot of those drivers, 2 of them running on a part-time basis. The rest definitely need those stage points. So definitely what the doctor ordered for the overall long-term season goal here.
And remember, we still have quite a few races left in the season before we get to the chase. Next week, next week we go to I believe Iowa Speedway for the Iowa 300. That's June 24th. First time for this series to be going over there. Charlotte Motor Speedway after that for the Blankenship Freight Lines 500. Pocono on July 8th. Japan in July 15th for the first run out there at Suzuka Circuit East Course. And then several more races before we get to the chase. Michigan, Talladega, Rockingham, 2 at Daytona, doubleheader at Daytona before we get to the chase.
Yeah, that is definitely a smorgasbord. 2 plate tracks to start off that long spell. And then obviously we go abroad for Suzuka, which is a track I'm personally looking forward to. I think it provides some good racing, and it will definitely be quite fun to pull a few drivers out of their comfort zones at the very least. Pit lane, very crowded here. Most cars that stayed out at the end of stage 1, all coming in this time by. Few cars staying out. Boone, Sosi, and Clavitt will all stay out. Last pitting on lap 84, all taking 4 tires and fuel. They'll try a bit of an alt strategy here as they race to the line. It's going to be very close to see by the naked eye, but Josh Gaiman will take it on a fuel-only call with Rodriguez, Roberg, and Denny. All cars came in 84, took 4 tires and fuel, so they just came in and top off. But out of the cars that took 4 tires on that stop, it'll be Meredith, Arnold, Swadsworth, Apperson, the first 4 out of them coming out of pit lane.
So the long stage 3 coming up, these drivers are going to be digging in for different pit strategies. We'll have to see at least 1 green flag stop for some of these drivers, maybe even 2 if we have some caution flags come out. But very interesting seeing the mixture of different strategies coming to play here. This could ultimately decide the race. Not necessarily how fast you are, but what pit strategy you decide to go to at the end of the race.
Yeah, strategies all play out here. Knowing where the fuel run is, knowing when these cars run out of fuel, having that little extra fuel off could maybe make a difference and help out. But obviously, Boone, Sosi, Clavitt, they've all been kind of buried in traffic. They haven't really been running towards the front, so they were like, and we even saw Dean Clavitt go a lap down before that big caution happened on 84. So he's taken this new lease on life, using this as an opportunity to try to get some track position here and maybe make something happen. Even with old tires, slightly older tires in comparison to some of the other cars that came out in 94, it's not much of a deficit that really hinder you like it did Pelletier Sharp when she came in and stayed out on lap 66 with her older tires.
So when we go back to green flag racing, it will be in command of, I believe, that is the 26 machine out there. 28, I'm sorry, check that. 28 of Matthew Boone, the Tombstone Motorsports driver. On the outside of him will be the 81 of Josh Susi, the Lady Liberty driver, who took that pink car to victory lane once this year, is going to try to do it one more time in but it's going to take him different bit strategy. It's going to take him a little bit of strategy to make it work out there. We'll see exactly if he has what he has to get there and get to victory lane.
Yep, and we'll have to see how that all plays out, and that's the question that we're going to get answer to in about 50-ish laps, 55-ish laps. And there's also a green flag pit stop in there if need be, if we don't see a caution first. So obviously, we'll get our crystal balls out, maybe try to think about who we'll see coming on. But obviously, with it being in the high banks of Atlanta, can't really predict these things. And you can see any of the cars still on the lead lap, which we still have well over 31. Any one of these drivers can make something happen. So you see the pit window is about 36, 39 laps, which is going to be about halfway through this final stage. See if they can save a little bit of fuel. Pace car is going to pull on off. Green flag is going to be out here as they'll enter the restart zone on Boone's control. Green flag is out, and away we go to start the final stage. Come to the line here, it's going to be Matthew Boone. 3 different stages, 3 different drivers leading to the line as Clavitt and Sosi will be in tow. But now you can see the outside line get a little bit of momentum as the fresh tire gang of Yahir Rodriguez and Josh Gaiman trying to go towards the front.
They're trying to go towards the front, but I'm not sure they're trying to get there in a hurry. Again, preservation is now the name of the game. It's about how you want to preserve your tires, how you want to preserve your fuel, and where you want to be running when everything comes to shove towards the end of the race. We're not done seeing cautions, but conservation is still going to be the name of the game because you want to have the best opportunity, you want to have the best tires at the end of this race in order to stay competitive.
I wonder what the betting odds are that we go caution-free to the finish here. The likelihood probably isn't high, but you know someone would be daring enough to try it. And knowing that HTL has a history of running clean on plate racing, I don't think it's out of the realm this could stay green to the finish. Not likely, but definitely a possibility playing out here. But as we see Boone, Clavitt, Sosi, not much has changed from those top three. You can see Alfred Denning now leading that high train as Yahir trying to push that 29 very aggressively to get maybe towards the front here.
The 28 continues to lead. Dean Clavitt in second, and Josh Susi position number 3. They're going to take advantage of that position as long as they can. As long as they can hold on, they're going to hold on there. And again, not everybody's just kind of running their own race right now. Everybody is running to their own specifications right now. You don't want to go anything crazy. You don't want to see anything wild happen out there. You just want to be able to finish and make your push towards the end of the race. Smart driving by everybody. But at some point, smart driving is going to have to go out the window in order to see him get aggressive. We may see him get aggressive right now.
I mean, we saw him getting the aggressive at the end of stages. That's the aggression they have. Times it up to a checkered flag. And we'll see it times 2, times 3, maybe even a times 4 multiplayer applying that. But now Sosi going to charge the high line with Denny, and they will take the lead. Sosi will lead his first lap of the outing here tonight, which is something you don't usually say about that driver, leading his first lap at lap 100. He'll be there. And you can see also 3 wide a little bit further back is Gaiman, Yahir, and I believe that's Zachary Appleson. 3 wide at the moment. The question is, who will kind of make it out of the line here? Gaiman will get clear. Yahir still side by side here. No driver really ready to give an inch. And they'll have to settle this out quite quickly, or else I smell pain in the future.
Rodriguez stuck in that sucker hole. Now you see drivers now trying to figure out, can we make the sucker hole work? Can we force the issue with new tires and fuel? So far, nobody. Well, not nobody. The 99 of Rodriguez, the 17 of Meredith, and I believe that's going to be the 5 machine, are going to try to make it work in that middle line as long as they can. So long as they have 3 drivers, they're going to see if they can make some moves and get a couple positions away from the other drivers. Now going back to 2 lines, no one's worse for the wear is the good news. The bad news is, I think a couple drivers did not get the boost they were hoping for.
Yeah, we saw as soon as an opening piled up, there was only 99 jumps to the low side. Meredith went to the high side, Wanzing went to the low side. So they quickly bailed out of that as quickly as they dared because they thought it was working, but it didn't work out. Again, update on the winless driver streak here. Looking towards the front here, you can see Boone, Clavitt, Sosa, your top 3. And looking at that list right now, none of those drivers appear in this top 6. However, Gary Donaldson currently running inside at least the top 20. Alfred Denny currently in the top 5. Kevin Gibney inside, still on the lead lap in the top 15. And Dean Clavitt currently sitting in second, all with high droughts and long winless streaks here in HTL competition. So definitely looking to try to break that goose egg and find their way back into victory lane.
You have to remember, Atlanta plays like a super speedway. Again, a super speedway in reverse. It's very fast. Fuel is not as big of an issue as tires are on this track, so it's still anybody's game. It's still anybody's race to win. The only difference is instead of Talladega or Daytona, where you're playing chess at 200 miles per hour and trying to figure out who you can work with at what point to get to the best position, you're playing against pit road. Your biggest challenger out there is, how do I make my equipment work and stay competitive all the way to the very end?
Keep your car clean. Don't want to destroy the fender, because if you destroy the downforce up front, you may not be able to really ride, kind of be a parachute up front. You'll be slowing down the pack, and you'll have to be a pusher to the end of the race. If you end up damaging maybe the rear or the back lining, that may also kind of cause similar effects. You have to keep your aero body clean. Don't damage the engine, and like you said, Joe, preservation is the name of the game. But if we check towards, I was just taking a cough there. As we check towards the front, right now, Boone trying to make that high line work here as he's getting antsy to take the lead.
He is getting antsy to take the lead after Clavitt took it away from him, but he may need a little bit of help. He may need some help from that 4 car to get it going out there. Clavitt continues to lead right now in that 90 snap-on machine, but look who's right behind him. The number 2 machine, once again, Josh Arnold, getting hungry out there, wants to get around that Hot Wheels snap-on machine and wants to get back to the lead.
Yeah, he does want to kind of get there, but I think, like you said, I don't think he's in a hurry. He feels comfortable where he is. No reason to rock the boat right now. We saw it work for him at the end of stage 2, getting second position there, make a late move. So no real reason to press the issue, throw late blocks, just ride right now. If the outside line gets in, look at that there, they were 3 wide, and you could always spell doom and gloom for that. No caution been thrown yet, more importantly, but that's got to be a caution. And you can see it through the kind of chaos. The 3 of Caitlin Height, she got a big lick there. She was involved. Monte Dotson was involved as well. It looks like we're quickly in a replay here to show exactly what happened.
I think it all starts around the 78 of Richard Odie, if I recall seeing that correctly. He's first to the 3 wide here, the 96, the 25, the 8. The 8 and 25 continue to run clean through the turns. Now they get a little bit of collision there. The 8 just accidentally cuts off the 25, and it starts a chain reaction that really gets hooked up around the 78 to 1, the 3. The 31 and 1 get connected, looks like collects the 78, and that's going to cause your big one. 4 cars involved, maybe even more when all the dust settles.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of strong cars get involved here right now. You obviously just get into the 3, minding her own business on the low side, gets clipped there by Pinnell, gets door checked, and that's going to shoot her low back to the high side here. And this point, it's going to be a wild ride into the wall. They will get hit here quite hard. Another car going to get involved in this well, I believe, is Pacey Wygant somewhere in this instance. I saw him get a piece. We'll ride on board here with the 3 right now. You'll see as we're now back here again, coming up to that lap. And that's always wide. 4 wide is quite dangerous when you get here. We zoomed up here. Now you see on Gibney's perspective, trying to avoid going 4 wide, and then 31 got into the 1. Luckily, Gibney avoids major catastrophe. However, other people not so lucky.
Not so lucky at all, and that is definitely going to hurt their chances at the race. And I believe some of these drivers have already used their quick repair out here. So we'll see real quickly who the haves and have-nots are as we look one more time, this time from Caitlin Height's perspective. Just minding road business, gets the 21, gets into her, and that's going to send her into the wall. It hit so hard, her camera went out.
Yeah, send her to the shadow realm right there. But luckily, she still has a fast repair, so she'll escape the pit lane right now, and she is more than fine to continue on. There you can see the cars that stayed out, though. Wright, Apperson, Lavitt, and a few others, and a few cars trying to get the wave round right now, including a few of them in that pack as well. But being pinned back, they will not be so lucky to get it. Worth noting right now, before that caution, we only had 1 retirement. It was Cody Pinnell, pulled off on lap 83. Now the question is, can anyone else get up and meet the 10 count before the pace car comes around here?
More importantly, the thing I'm asking myself now is when we come around this time by, we'll have a little over 30 laps to go. Do I come down pit road this time by knowing that I can make the entire race on fuel, or do I try to come in at the very end and maximize my tire usage? We see some people coming down pit road right now, going ahead and get their service done, and these lap cars. But now, my question is, so if you're on the lead lap then, when do you come down pit road? You can technically make the rest of the race on fuel, but do you want to try it, considering how much tires are at a premium here?
Well, we got to factor in as well, to that point as well. Going a fuel win is about 36, 39 laps. At the same point, we have unlimited attempts at a green white checkered. If cautions break out and cautions breed cautions, you could see maybe a driver pitting at 108 right now. Most of the field came in at 108 for fuel and tires. You got to risk that maybe fuel could become a bit of a concern if the race gets extended longer than the distance required. At the same point, though, tires are at a premium, and I don't hate that call to come in if we get a quick caution here and maybe put on a fresh set. But at the same point, though, you need track position, knowing it's very hard to pass here and make moves happen. I think right now, if you got to come in and do what the leader kind of does here. Staying out would be beneficial, but if you're like 20th, you kind of say, tires are not important, I need track position, and I'll try to hang on.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens as we get into the final 30-some laps of this race. It's going to be very entertaining to watch these drivers, 2 drivers who have not led so far. That's going to be the 50 machine up front, joined on the outside by the Ford of Apperson.
There's a quick update as well. Pacey Wygant is also pulled behind the wall. Our stage 1 winner and our pole sitter, he is done for the day. Dotson and Blowers looking poised to join with their heavy damage clocks.
So the 50 machine, the stepping stone driver, James Wright, will go ahead and take the green flag for the first time tonight out of the caution, and it will be James Wright, your leader. Dean Clavette immediately on his back bumper as everybody comes to a slow and paced start going into turns 1 and 2.
Be cautious, knowing some of these drivers on slightly older tires don't want to really spin someone here and make a bad problem worse. But look at Connor Morse up the road there. Got a bad bump. Cars fanning out. Few cars going low. I think that's one. Maybe Blake Henderson. It was Blake Henderson. He hits the inside wall quite hard. Still trying to save it. Has it locked down. More importantly, we stay green as it's deemed only 1 car. As we cut back to the front, the 50 of James Wright will lead this lap with Arnold and Sosi in tow.
Wright continues to lead, and that drop may continue for the 25. Tough break into the inside wall. He will have to use his repair. And now Clavette just got bodied as well. Clavette, who was up front, he's going to take the long ride towards the back of the line.
We're talking about aggression comes up near the end of this line, but I still think it's a bit early as this time by will hit 30 laps to go. These drivers are running like we got 5 laps to go here, trying to make time and positions up as quick as they can. You can see right there, just up the road in that shot, just in the foreground, they're going to catch Blake Henderson here quite quickly. And he's going to go from being in a top 15 spot, now going 1 down, hoping for a quick caution. And his cars fan out here at 50. And James Wright's going to back it down here, avoid the wrecks, and up towards the front. Hunter Peach, he wants the lead. He's not going to allow Josh Arnold to shut the door as they'll be side by side through 3.
Side by side coming out of turn 3 into the quad oval to score Hunter Peach your winner, but the coast-to-coast drivers, they are not happy with that. They wanted to try to get back in tandem and see if they can make a big run on this race.
Got to break them up if you want to have a chance here and make it a race between a bunch of the cars. You let them link up towards the front, they'll block out the lines. A little bit further back, you can see drivers being aggressive. Josh Game, we know someone that's willing to make moves if need be, trying to get some toe there from Carmen Sienna back, and they had a bit of a checkered pass here. They're going to have to be a bit careful, not ruffle anymore. Feathers up front, Sosi hits the wall, Arnold, Meredith, multiple cars. I think we just had a bad hip check, and multiple good cars back towards the front.
And this is why the quick repair is going to come into quick play here, as a lot of those drivers not sure exactly what happened to bring all that out, but that was definitely a tough hit. And we already see some drivers who were involved in earlier incidents now coming around and getting involved one more time.
Hunter Peach basically looking like Austin Dillon back in the Rain Daytona race. Only car surviving right now. But we'll take a look here on the replay. It was a 7-car pack. What exactly happens here? You can see Sosi pushing Arnold. And, Arnold got a bit of a possibly bad bump. Then comes back up and gets hooked on the fender of the 81, and that sends him hard. Big lick there on the high wall, and that sends 81 down into Meredith, into Wanzing, and at that point it becomes basically a free-for-all as cars now going 180 a little bit further back, have to try to check up to avoid this chaos.
Great avoidance by Apperson to get around there. Look at him all the way down through the grass, able to save it and rescue it and keep going out there. So great move by him. We'll go on board with him next as we watch the carnage continue to fan out throughout this field. Tough break for those drivers up front, but this will change the complexion of the race entirely.
I will throw it on its head. Any cars that stayed out can come in now and get 4 tires and get fuel to comfortably make it to the end. Now we're right on board like we're talking about with Zachary Apperson and his great avoidance here. Driver hungry to find victory lane. Up front, you can see again, keep an eye high in the sky. Arnold tried to make a move. Sosa tried to follow, got the hook, and look at Apperson. Perfect avoidance to go through the grass. Previous years, there was a splitter. That would have dug in, and that could have done more damage than it's worth. But luckily, able to keep it going, keep the foot planted, no damage, other than maybe a radiator full of grass that will get cleared out.
Let's right on board now with Susie one more time, who's right in the middle of this, and you see exactly what happened there. Just hooks Arnold the wrong way after a bad push, and that sends Arnold for a ride and sends Susie right in the middle of a spin cycle that he's unable to get out of. Tough break for those drivers. A little bit of aggression there, causing this next incident.
And the thing is, even if you're in that second pack, there's not much you can do in that point because you're going 185. And with reaction times being so quick around here, I think we're right on board here with James Wright in the 50, who got hit checked. And I think it could be a situation, a case of ARCA braking here, trying to avoid it, going low on the brakes. You're going to see probably, I think, the 17 coming in shot here on the brakes, trying to go low and right into a pileup. Actually, it was Josh Arnold he hit. But yeah, just bad braking there. Bit of a rookie mistake, but luckily minor damage for the 50.
Minor damage to the 50, and it's something that they can repair and get the car back on track, but definitely not the finish that they were hoping for. Let's ride on board one more time with I believe this is Hunter Peach, your leader, as everything was happening. You see the 2 coast-to-coast drivers behind him jockeying for position. The 81 and 2 make that bad connection, and next thing you know, calamity breaks out behind him. You can see just how crazy it was.
Put it in the Grand Theft that crash there, and I'm still hearing chaos and commotion on the radio, and you just know how that wreck ruffled a lot of feathers here. Up towards the front we go as we just hit the 1 to go on the line. It's going to be Peach and Rodriguez, row 1. Wanzing, Reynolds, row 2. Morse, Swatsworth, row 3. Height, Boone, row 4. Gibney, Gaiman, row 5. As the virtual crowd are definitely getting their money's worth right now, as they're sitting patiently waiting for a great finish here.
Virtual crowd getting their money's worth. We appreciate you joining us here on ABN1 for tonight's race. It's definitely going to come down to an exciting climax as everybody on their feet waiting to see what will happen. Peach is on the inside trying to make this work. Hunter Peach, the NFG Motorsports driver, trying to get the win, but on the outside of him, another Ascent Racing driver. It's going to be Yair Rodriguez doing everything he can to take the trophy home for Ascent.
Interesting to note as well is before that incident, there were 3 Pizza and Wings cars up towards the front. Now it's only 1. More importantly, that number 20 is not even aligned with Coast to Coast per se under the team actual umbrella. But at least the podcast still has 1 bullet left in the gun at the very least. As you can see, Lil Pelty Sharp trying to get caught up. Other cars getting caught up here as we're going to have all over 25 cars on the lead lap, dueling it out with 24 laps to go.
25 cars, 24 laps. You do the math there. Green flag flies as they come through the restart zone. Hunter Peach back in the lead, but look at Yair Rodriguez, the 99. He is fighting tooth and nail, trying to make it work on that outside line. Not going to make the pass. He's going to need a little bit of help if he wants to get up front.
See if Reynolds and Swatsworth can come in tow. Not teammates, but at least going to link up here. Maybe try to get that Highlands momentum here. Swatsworth going to ditch Reynolds. Don't see that often as we ride on board here with the birthday girl. Currently on the low side here, still dealing with those audio issues inside the top 10. Maybe she can steal one and have the ultimate icing on the cake, if you will. As we hit 23 to go, Hunter Peach will lead this lap as he is in tow here at the moment with Wanzing and Morse on the low side.
Hunter Peach continues to lead. The 5 machine, though, all over his back bumper. That driver is not going to waste any time trying to force the Hunter Peach to make a mistake, trying to force an error there that would get him out of position, or at least at the very least force him up the track. More trouble could be coming, though, as we have a pace car coming up. That's by Flowers.
It's probably Flowers. I think he's at least a couple down here. Actually, he is a couple down here. He is multiple down here, 13 to be exact. So he's just trying to get laps here, get points, maybe help him out in the long season here as he will hang on the high side and avoid anyone's ruining anyone's day. But towards the front, you can see Wanzing. He will jump to the high side here and join the 99 Yair Rodriguez and the 2 Arrowhead Racing machines to try to get something happening here.
Almost trouble there with Yair Rodriguez and the 5 of Seth Wanzing. They'll be able to make it work, though, and get it back. Now Hunter Peach is going to go to the high side. Can he make the high side work with the 19 in tow, trying to fight for position number 1?
Wanzing's a very aggressive driver. He is not willing to sit around, wait out to make something happen. He feels confident, but right now he'll stay in tow with Peach. No real benefit options. Connor Morse at 19 is a little bit too far away to make something happen. More importantly, I believe that they are teammates for NFG, so there's no reason to really ditch your teammate at the altar when you have the front 2 spots locked out, similar to what Coast to Coast did for the first 2 stages.
Smart driving by the drivers out there as they continue to run in line with one another. Highline now being the place to be as they start getting a run away about three car lengths from that low line. Could be a little bit more if those drivers stay in line and continue to lead that high train around the track.
Remember as well that 19 is also under the NFG banner as well, so if the 19 can kind of get back up here and charge to make something happen, they can make it a top 3 lockout for those cars in question. As we see the 2 of Josh Arnold, he's still dealing with some of the damage he inflicted under the previous caution, and the pack is coming up ready to swallow him whole here. As Reynolds, you can see now on that low line along with Boone, to break up the monotony of NFG on the low line, but they're going to still have to try to fester out the high side if they want to make something happen.
So Peach continuing to lead. Seth Wanzing in second. And a double zero, not the double zero, the 96 down below, trying to play spoiler, getting a big shove as the high line continues to stay hot. The high line is where you really want to be right now. No momentum for the 96 of Tommy Reynolds down low.
Another thing to note, look if we can get a shot here. Look at the front end of that 96, a little bit punched in, a little bit more scrunched up. And that could be affecting at least a little bit of performance of that 96 per se. May not affect it be a total parachute, but that could affect the issues of 96. Gets a little loose coming up the road. Gonna hit that Connor Morse. All for Denny. Multiple cars involved. A repeat of what we saw previously, except with a low line twist.
A very, very catastrophic accident there. Lots of heavy damage for some cars. Some cars will be going home as a result of that one. You see the 96 entire front end destroyed on the 96 of Tommy Reynolds. Lots of damage out there.
Yeah, I was hoping he would keep driving around with the hood up there. It would have been an interesting sight, but sadly he'll tap the tail into pit lane. So we'll take a look here in the replay, and you already see, Reynolds got up and over on Alfred Denny's car there. And you can see right there, then the hood goes up. And we'll see if we can run it just a little bit back. Now we'll get it. You can see Boone trying to push Reynolds there. Already a little bit squirrely. We're coming on the back stretch right now. So we're going to see the accident come through the tribal here. But you can already see kind of the warning signs begin to fire off here. The cracks begin to show. And as they come off here, 3 and 4, keep an eye again on Boone and Reynolds. You can see Boone pushing. 96 gets just a little bit loose here, coming down the corner, trying to save it. But at that point, 28 just happens to be there, sends him just enough up right in the Morse. And now both are heading hard to the outside wall. And at this point, track Blacker 101 as he's in 19 graze the right side of the 9 of Sasek.
Let's go on board with the 9 of Sasek to start these replays, and you can see just how close Calamity came to his door. Going through turns 3 and 4, everything looks safe. He feels like he's in a good place. He can make. I'm sorry, we're getting word this is going to be a different driver. Now check it. Sasek down the backstretch, going into turns 3 and 4. Again, feeling comfortable with the car, feeling comfortable with the way where he's at in the position, and you can see just how close Calamity comes to his door as the accidents happen in real time. Almost involved there. Great save to hit the brakes, go around them, and that could preserve his day.
Honestly, it was great that the 19 went wheels first into his side doors. If he went the other way, it could have led a lot more damage. Now riding forward here with the 4, Henderson Graphics machine pushing another Henderson Graphics machine in the 12 machine at Dustin Hall. See the smoke coming up. Apperson tried to avoid it last time, did, and it looks like almost gets away with a lucky escape again. Very much could have been worse. So Apperson using a lot of his lives here, almost like a cat. Question is, how many does he have left here?
How many does anybody have here is a big question. As we get down to 15 laps to go, it'll be less than 15, probably closer to 10 when we go back to green flag racing. I imagine we'll go at around 12 to go-ish. The biggest beneficiary of this, though, Hunter Peach in the 20 machine. He continues to lead laps, and the longer he leads out there, the better his odds are of winning. But the problem is he's also got a big target on his back.
Yeah, and that's going to make it, but at least NFG has a kind of front row lockout. Looking at the points right now, and you're going to see they're getting quite shaked up right now. This is coming into Atlanta, by the way, not currently lively, actively updated. Look at Hunter Peach, currently in the way, 3rd in points, getting a win with punches ticket. Pacey Wygen's had a bad day, but could fall back on his win. Blake Henderson currently running out to the top 25. Lilacs Air not even here tonight, and for the top 2, Sasek currently sitting inside the top 10. Joshua Sosi, after that big lick, is wounded, trying to putt around here a little bit further back. So this could easily take a hammer to the standings here and shake it up, but at least a couple of those drivers in those top 5 have wins they can fall back on.
Well, not only that, but we're also looking at playoff implications as well. With the season just about half over, we're now looking at what's going on with the rest of the season. What's going to be going on with these drivers, and how do they recover from this race and get back and try to preserve their playoff positioning. 13 to go when they go to the green flag, and still anybody's race, anything can happen.
Yeah. We'll look at the top 10 real fast when we go green here. Peach, Wanzing, Rodriguez, Gaiman, swaps with Boone, Height, Roberg, Gibney, Sasek. A few of those drivers got the call this morning to fill in, and they're doing a great job so far. 24 cars on the lead lap as we speak with, I believe, I'll confirm it real fast, 32 still running, but Denny and Britton, the only ones one down, currently 26 and 27.
So this restart will go back to Hunter Peach one more time as he leads them into the restart zone. Green flag about to fly, and he's going to be fighting everybody he can find on this track. Green flag flies a 20 of Peach. Gets a big jump going onto the track, but here comes Yair Rodriguez, and on the high side, 3 cars going to try to tail together and see if they can make a last-minute run.
You can see a bit of miscommunication by NFG. Wanzing got left in the dust, and now Peach is going to have to try to control both lines here. Going to get now linked back up with teammates. But looking at some of the allegiances here, most of them, excluding those top two, don't have much technical alliances. And now Yaya here for Ascent is going to be left on the low side here. And they're 3 wide, about for P8, P9 right now, just in that second pack there.
Losing down below the 8 of height in the middle, and I believe that's a 27 up top. They're going to sort it out real quick, and they're going to get back in line. But very, very scary moments there. As we know, 3 wide does not work very well at Atlanta.
Yeah, no, that we've seen it happen at least twice where it led the Rex. 4 wide is the kiss of death, but luckily we've only seen that once. So up front, you can see getting a little bit races. That second pack is now officially caught back up, and Kevin Gibney leading that low charge along with Dean Clavitt. Some of the drivers trying to get that winless streak broken here as they're trying to make that low line work, but up front, it's still an NGL Motorsports front 2 as it's Peach and Wanzing and then Gaiman for Valkyrie Motorsports.
Gaiman's had a quiet race all night, but as we've noticed, all you have to do is continue to run clean and preserve your car, and you could have a chance at it. 3 wide once again around the 18, and this could spell trouble as the 18 is sandwiched between the 99 and the 3 going into the front stretch.
And that's when you don't want to be sandwiched through the sucker hole right now. And Swansworth's going to have to take the lonesome trip and try to find a hole to get bound back. But we've hit 10 laps to go here. Still well over 12 miles to the finish line. Still, I don't think we're possibly done with cautions yet, as Hunter Peach is still controlling those lanes quite well. But you know Gaiman and Boone want to break up that monotony if they can find a way to do it.
If they can find a way to do it. Damage at this point, you can see it on the 5, but I don't know, but unless he gets on line, that may not come into play. We'll see exactly how that comes together as you see him bumping the bumper of the 20 machine, just hammering away at him, trying to get him to keep moving forward, trying to push him to the win. I think the 5 Wanzing knows he can't win, but he's going to do everything he can to push his teammate to get up there and get the win.
At the same point, never say never. If you can make that low line work and lock it out, so at the very least one of the two will get it. We saw at the end of stage 2 where Arnold and Meredith made it work. So at the same point, just hug that car right now, make sure you stay close and keep pushing. And if the charge comes, maybe jump to the low side and try to block the lanes here. But now another car hitting the sucker hole. It's going to be Matthew Boone as he's going to take the wrong way quickly unless he can find a hole to pop up in.
Boone will try to force it up the high side. He barely squeezes in front of Caitlin Height. Now another one goes in the middle. I believe that's that's a number 90 machine. The vet is going to be in the middle now. Now shoving and going around the 18 to 27. Everybody jiggling in lines.
Saw Roberg hit that wall there, thought there was going to be some melee there. Luckily, they saved it. Boone almost got it. And now the question is, Gibney going to try to get it right, and Matthew Boone will have to clip the wall just a bit to avoid it. And now Gibney's going to get sent through the middle hole here. Looks like the low line has voted him out of the tribe, and now he'll have to try to make his way up to the high side or continue to fall back.
He will force his way into the high side is the good news. The bad news is not without pushing that low side even further. Dean Clavette now trying to reform the low side with a 27 machine, trying to make a run on your leaders. The Hunter Peach goes low just for a second, then tucks back in with his teammate with 6 to go.
Some help is coming for Gaiman if he can get it. The 27 is also a Valkyrie Motorsports machine. So if Gaiman can get that 27 to Roberg just a little bit closer, maybe they can make something happen here to break it up. Right now, that low line is not finding the momentum they needed. They had a charge, they had a run, but they just lost the time there. Still up front, it's Peach, Wanzing, Gaiman, Rodriguez, and now that low line coming back at least a little bit. What can they do? And can Clevitt charge towards the front?
5 laps to go at this juncture. Peach continuing to lead. High side continuing to be the more dominant of lines. It's been low, it's been high, and now high side may end up winning this race if the low line cannot get more organized. Clavette doing everything he can to drive that low line up towards the leaders, but the leaders just too fast right now. Just doing a great job of holding the low line down.
Yeah, that's going to be able to look at that run again. They're charging slowly. They're now up to P3 with 4 to go. They are closing. They're closing quicker than you would think. The question is, what do you do if you're Wanzing? Is that your golden ticket? Do you jump low? Well, the door has been closed for him. Clevitt trying to get towards the front. They'll be side by side on the backstretch.
Digging hard on that low line. Clavette only a car length away from the 20 of Peach. The 5 shoving him as hard as he can. They're trying to make it a 1-2 night for NFG Motorsports, and Clavette wants to be the spoiler of that. He wants to definitely make some moves as he's going to go out of the line, try to force something to happen here. No dice, 3 to go.
3 to go here. Wanzing maybe has a second chance to jump low if he takes it. If you're Gaiman, you don't really have that option anymore. You're kind of boxed in. You have to try to push these cars clear and then make something happen. Now Gaiman is clear as well. Maybe even Yaya here can get it as well. The question is, will anyone be brave enough to jump low here to make a challenge?
Obstacles flick fly, this time by 2 to go as the Peach continues to lead. Clavette getting shoved by the 27 of Martin Roberg. Roberg, though, I don't know how much it's helping or hurting him. This time by, he's got the lead. Can he hold on?
Hunter Peach got a little loose there, and that's the thing Clavitt and Roberg needed. Swansworth going high to low. That may have just took the 20-5 out of contention. As we're coming off of 3 and 4, we are going to see the white flag in the flagman's hand. Can Clavitt take it home here? White flag in the air. Clavitt, Roberg, Sosi, your top 3 as the 27 gets hooked.
27 gets hooked. He's going to go around back into traffic. White flag remains out, though. We're still racing up front as it looks like Corvette continues to lead.
Look at this right now. You got the 90-20. Multiple chaos in the back there. Multiple cars involved. We'll take a look. 5 gets hooked by Gaiman. DJ Trout on the wall. It's going to be a 2-horse race. Clavitt gets hooked on Peach. It's going to be a race. Peach gets around Clavitt. And as they come off the last corner, Hunter Peach maybe not looking for the way he wanted it, but he will take the checkered flag. DJ Trout in second and Josh Gaiman in third. Pandemonium at the finish line right there. Right height rounding out the top 5. But Hunter Peach finds victory for the Pizza and Wings machine. But again, I don't think that 90 is going to be too thrilled with how that finished.
I have no words for what I just saw. That was just a battleground.
It was. We'll see if we can take a look here. Oh, they're fighting. We'll hold on for a second. You can see tempers flaring there. Clavitt going to get in the Peach. So as Peach is going to probably slow it up here and burn it down, then we'll take a replay here. But sorry to cut you off there, Joe. It was just getting very chaotic.
Yeah. No, like I said, it was just a battleground. We saw the Thunderdome come to life there, and Hunter Peach definitely reaping a little bit of what he sowed, but still a win for Hunter Peach is a win, you know? You take him as you get him.
All right, so we'll take a look here at the replay here. We'll pull it on up here, and we're going to take it from the white flag here, and we'll see if we can get a nice little shot here. We'll take a wide shot here, and we'll play it at full speed here. And you can see right there, first chaos is going to happen here. We'll pause it right here, focus on the 27 machine here, and you're going to see right there, it gets hooked on the 81, shoots sideways, comes up the racing surface, and that takes, look at Carmen Sienna get boxed, and that is going to take a handful of cars out. Then we're going to focus on this middle pack here. Sosi, the 99 as well, they touch as well. That shoots it out. And at this point, it becomes a 6-car pack. Gaiman gets on Wanzing, and we're going to stop it right here. And we'll get a little bit closer if we can. And we're going to back it up just a tiny bit here. And just focus on this line here as we'll play it at like a 4th speed here. You can see the chaos behind. And then we'll play it right here. You can see the move happening. 20 tries to go low, gets hooked on the 90, and the 90 gets it saved. But at that point, the 20 kind of got the hand in the cookie jar, got caught, but ended up taking the checkered flag here. Just chaos. Almost every car that took that white flag have ended up with some sort of contact coming to the line.
Chaos upon chaos upon chaos as Hunter Peach will walk away with the win in the number 20 Pizza and Wings Toyota Camry. What a crazy race. What a crazy finish. I don't think anybody could have scripted it any better. Just a moment, we will talk to your podium finishers and recap what we saw out there. Let's go ahead and, we'll get to it here in a moment. Let's go ahead and go through the unofficial finishing order.
Looks like first we'll take a look at the standings, the final results here. Then we'll get to those interviews. Allow some kind of file in here. You can see race winner Hunter Peach will take the race victory. Trout in second. Gaiman in third. Another good podium finish for Gaiman. Definitely going in the right direction. James Wright in fourth. Caitlin Height, good recovery after being turned sideways, gets the top 5. Dean Clavitt falls down to 6th. Austin Mongold 7th. Kevin Gibney 8th. Zachary Apperson 5th. And the Georgia-born driver, the highest of the 3 Georgia drivers, Ryan Pinnell, rounds out with a top 10. And Joe, why don't you take us through the rest of the standings here?
Yair Rodriguez, who is challenging for the lead, will finish 11th. Christopher Pendel in 12th. Casey Ells in 3rd. Zad Swatsworth 4th. Seth Wansing, after getting involved in the last lap incident, finishes 15th. Carmen Sienna 16th. Josh Susi 17th. Richard Odie, Blake Henderson, Matthew Boone round out your top 20. 21 through 30 will be Martin Roberg, Eli Sasek, Callie Height, Gary Donaldson, William Britton, Alfred Denny, Lily Petelier Sharp, Dustin Hall, DeMonte Dotson, and Zachary Meredith in the tail end of that group. And rounding out the rest of your field, Josh Arnold, Pacey Wygant, Molly Blowers, Tommy Reynolds, Connor Morse, Caleb Carter, and Cody Pinnell.
I actually don't know what the hell happened behind it. That's why I'm looking at it right now, because I was like, how the hell did I see this?
Go ahead, Kevin.
So as we'll bring our third place finisher here, Josh Gaiman, we'll hear his thoughts now. Josh, looks like we caught you at a bad time, but it's a Kevin Van Booth. You got a copy.
I got you.
All right, well, that was a very chaotic finish, and we'll get to that just a second here. But first, we got to talk about the first 99% of this race. So kind of take us through kind of what built up to that race. How was the track conditions out there, and how was it trying to make moves to get towards the front?
Yeah, you could get a lot of big runs, but with how thin the track is, it's not like Talladega where you got 12,000 lanes of racing. It's really, really compact, but you know, it the car was super, super tight after like 10 laps. So it was just almost impossible to really get a run unless somebody made a mistake or, you got lucky enough to be able to get 3 wide out of a corner and get a good run down the straightaway. But other than that, it's wow, yeah, it's definitely really tough.
Well, obviously, I won't leave the viewers in suspense any longer. We got to hear about that final lap from your perspective, where it just felt like the chaos hit the fan and everyone was scrambling for what they happened. So take us through that last lap from your perspective, what you saw through your windshield.
Yeah, hell, for like 2 to go there, it was we got a little checked up there and we lost a couple of spots, but I just kind of stayed in the back of Seth. I got into him down the backstretch. Definitely not what I intended to do, but yeah, it's the nature of this freaking track, it seems. But yeah, I saw that wreck coming through 3 and 4. Dean kind of just got dumped there and kept my foot in it really, and everyone started crashing off of 4, and I figure it's better to avoid it and you know take the dive than to just try to drive through it, and I did what I had to do to not just drive through a wreck, and ARCA brake everything. So I mean, I think I did the right thing, and if somebody thinks otherwise, well, it's okay to be wrong.
Definitely, that's a Josh Gaiman answer I've ever heard, one at the very least. But obviously, you've kept the momentum going quite well. It's been quite strong. So I guess we'll ask you directly. You've kept this form going. What can you do to keep this going with the rest of the schedules? You're currently in the top 12, but you've been knocking on the door to get a victory. How can you find that a victory here this season?
Uh, yeah, more luck. Definitely a lot more luck. I have and consistency's always been something that I'll get it for a couple of weeks in a row, and then for the same amount of weeks I've got absolutely no consistency and I'm stepping all over myself. So I think I'm finally on a good stretch. I just gotta keep doing what I'm doing, honestly. It's been a great couple of weeks. Sonoma was amazing. Last week was amazing. Um, I just got to do whatever it is that I'm doing, and just see where we end up.
Mhm. Keep that line of train going here. Obviously, with next week being Iowa, thoughts on the track itself? Do you think it's a track where you can get that first victory this season?
Yeah, that's another up and down track for me. Um, I'd really like to, for sure. I think it'll be a really fun one. So, you know, uh, kind of just go into it with our head up and just hope it goes well.
Yeah, that's a positive outlook you can have throughout the point on a racing surface. But obviously, it is a binge tradition. If there's anyone to thank, family, friends, sponsors, whatever, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out McConey Setup Shop, 213 Somewhere, W Energy. Um, shout out the admins and all that for putting this series together. HTL's been a lot of fun to run for the last few seasons, and you know, all you guys in the booth for doing what you do.
Yeah, thanks for showing some support as well. I thought you had more to say there, but it just kind of
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
yeah, it just tapered off there at the end. But obviously, it has been great talking to you, Josh, and hopefully we'll be talking for the end of the season. But if not, you take care. Have a good rest of your week.
Absolutely, too.
And that was our third place finisher, Josh Gaiman. I think Joe has found our second place finisher, DJ Trout.
DJ Trout getting through the melee, finishing second. And DJ, just walk me through that last lap. Walk me through everything that happened there and how you ended up being in the position to finish second.
Honestly, I have no clue. It's just typical last lap mayhem at a super speedway, and I was just able to get through this time. There, I don't really know what I was able to do besides save it on the apron when I accidentally got into Dean there.
You're able to get it through and save it. That was the big issue going into that last lap. Were there any signs? Were there anything that said, that kind of told you, any intuition that was like, we're not going to have a good time this lap? Anything at all that kind of gave away what was going to finish?
Uh, no, I mean, I guess just past HTL races kind of helped me for this moment. I knew I wanted to be on the bottom just in case there was wrecks happening, and if there was, I could just go down and avoid it. But never did I expect to come out with a top 3 finish after being in the back all day.
You were in the back all day, and it seemed like a game of both preservation and pit strategy that got you up to this point. What was your strategy going in? And at any point, did you call an audible to say, all right, we've got a chance. Let's figure out something else to make it work?
Honestly, going into this race, I think it's the same as everyone's, was survive. And if I made it far enough, start to worry about the strategy from there. But when that last caution came out, I came down to top off just in case it did go green. And actually, I think that was the second to last caution or something. But I was able to top off and work my way through the pack slowly and methodically. And I ended up being in the right place at the end.
Iowa next week. Your thoughts going into a track that we've never been to before at HTL?
Iowa's actually a really good track for me. I have a lot of experience in the Cup car there. I actually have a win in the Cup car there as well, in a league setting. So I'm hoping that would help me, hopefully jump to the front of Iowa and stay there.
Who makes it work for you, DJ?
What was that?
Shout out time. Who makes it work for you?
Thank you to my team, first and foremost, for helping me manage whatever race this was or how I control the car. And most importantly, thank you to my grandparents for always watching every single league race I do. I mean, I don't know if they're watching today because of some unfortunate family or an unfortunate family loss, but if you guys are, I love you. Thank you for watching, and thank you guys for the broadcast.
Certainly our condolences to you and your family. DJ Trout improves on his best finish ever, looking for a win next week at Iowa. Kevin, you've got our winner, I believe.
Yep, I think I flagged him down right now. We got our race winner here in the virtual victory lane, Hunter Peach. Can you hear me?
I got you.
Well, Hunter, it was a very eventful race. Obviously, we'll talk about the finish in a bit, but first I want to take through the perspective of the first 95% of this race. So again, I asked the 33 cars question. I'll ask you the same question. How was the track out there? As we saw you kind of making moves and making strategies work. So how did it feel out there, and do you think it played to the strategy to your perfection?
Hell would be the word to describe it, being stuck in the back, not be able to really move. I really don't like these plate tracks, to be honest. I prefer the old Atlanta. I think everybody really would. But no, the first stint, qualified about mid-pack, and, these cars get side by side and really can't do much. And most of my team got up there and don't really know how they navigate through. I couldn't really figure it out. Got stuck up in a little bit of, trying to dodge the rags, losing the pads because cars stayed out, and was just basically bound to adversity pretty much all race. So, not very fun in my perspective of the first 90.
Mm-hmm. It was very chaotic, to say the least, but you persevered through it, and you got yourself in a good position to avoid the chaos. We saw the 2 incidents happen up front. You skated by both of them, and you kept pointing the right direction. And then, obviously, with 10 laps to go, you're getting a lot of help from Seth Wansing. It makes me wonder if Wansing was maybe thinking of making a move. We stay behind. Only time will tell on that one. But take us through that last lap in your perspective. What was the game plan, and what exactly happened outside your windshield?
So I think the game plan obviously we know was obviously alliance with Coast to Coast. They ran great. We got Zach some stage points, very much needed with him being down in points. So that was kind of the goal, helping him. And then finally got out there with Sent, and with every other teammates coming in that wreck with Sosi earlier that we dodged. We got the part where Seth was kind of just committed to me. We really didn't want game in and kind of get the run, so we just stayed committed and stayed up high with them. And eventually, just that was mainly the goal, was just him to push me. If anybody blocked, I wasn't really going to live for it.
Obviously, you wouldn't lift, especially on the line, come to the finish line, even though definitely we've seen some drivers be a little bit ruffled on the cooldown lap. Obviously, it is Iowa next week. First of all, you snapped your long winless drought here, 26 races. Well, that will now go back down to 0, so you probably feel good about that. But secondly, with Iowa next week, do you think there's a chance we see you go back-to-back?
Maybe. I feel more confident in Charlotte, but no, it feels good to win the Peach State with the Peach card, so kind of ironic. But like I said, bound to reverse the last 4 weeks again in top fours, dodging every rank like Indy. Just been rough weeks. We had positions of winning, and finally battled through and finally get to be in the playoffs for the first time, which is very great. And I don't know what the point standings are for the regular season. I know we were very close into that, so that we might be close to that with Sosi, but we'll have to see. But Iowa, I feel pretty good at. I don't really haven't put much time into it, but we'll see how that goes.
Say at the very least, finishing ahead of all your rivals definitely will make you close that gap. But obviously, it is a been tradition. If there's anyone you want to thank, family, friends, sponsors, whatever, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Obviously, got to thank DM Pilot Services with David, his business, and DJ for giving me this opportunity, to drive in this league for this car. Noah Blackwell for making this Peach car. Pizza and Wings Podcast being a car, JCTV, 213 Somewhere, everybody back over there, and all energy. And obviously, Seth Wansing, the biggest contributor. Without him, I probably would not be in Victory Lane. So definitely owe him one. But yeah, and then obviously y'all put on the broadcast, and I'm kind of sorry to Dean, but I really couldn't do much there with the gap being open on the last lap. I would expect the same if I'm in the same position. So didn't really mean to wreck them. I don't want to wreck somebody for a win. I don't like to win that way, but comes down to it. But yeah.
Well, it's been great talking, Hunter Peach. Obviously, we'll see how it all plays out. Hope you two can smooth things over. But regardless, hope we have a good rest of your week, and maybe we'll be talking again at Iowa. So take care. Have a good rest of your week. And that was our winner, Hunter Peach, now still in Victory Lane. We'll take it back to Joe here. As I think we're ready to get on for a sign-off.
Incredible racing leading to a chaotic but fun finish here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Congratulations once again to Hunter Peach, your winner here tonight. Be sure to join us next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, as we do it one more time for the first ever stop for the HTL Cup Series at Iowa Speedway, 200 miles around there. Should be a fun time. We look forward to seeing you then. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Kevin Young, our director, Kristina Ryan, my name is Joe Cortez. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week, this time for more HTL Cup Series racing. Good night, everybody.